Chapter 620. Hee, I finally got it right this time. I haven't seen you for so long, but you haven't changed at all. Zhao Jin's words made everyone in the house laugh even more happily. Guopao then introduced everyone in the room to Zhao Jin. The ancestor of the water immortal, Shui Yunzi, the powerful beings of the dragon race, Ao Feng and the others, the human race's experts, Li Shixin, Qiu Daoyuan, Qi Yun and Li Feng from the Nine Heavens Purgatory, Mao Tu and Mao Er, the descendants of the two most powerful monkeys, Yuner, the third prince, Xian Yuan Hao, his cheap junior brother, the old Taoist Tong Yuan, Huda and the others who had transformed into human form on the Fire Cloud Island, the fire divine beast Guohua, descendants of the great witch Xue Dezhu and Kong Fei. I really didn't expect that in just a few years, Master has already roped in so many powers. If Master had such connections back then, even if Master ascended to the heaven realm, the sect wouldn't have been so messed up by Big Senior. Zhao Jin sighed in his heart. Bad guy, I forgot to tell you. The leaders of the Sword and Qi sects of Mount Shu have arrived. They are now under the Gu clan's arrangement. Yuer smiled and said to Guopai, I was thinking of going to Mount Shu recently. I didn't expect them to come. I'll go take a look. You guys can chat first. Guopai didn't let the group follow him. He called out to Guohua and walked towards the Gu clan. Master, why isn't Bad Big Brother here yet? Back when he left Shushan, he said that he would be back in a year. 6 years have passed in the blink of an eye, and Bad Big Brother hasn't come even once. The little boy, who was about 12 or 13 years old, whispered to the two old men beside him. Little Han, you can't blame Guopai. In recent years, many things have happened in Huaxia. If not for Guopai, I'm afraid that Huaxia would be in chaos now. The person who spoke was none other than the sect leader of the Mount Shu Sword sect, Fei Tianyang, who was still lamenting about the incident at Mount Shu a day ago. Let's wait. Sect Master Gua isn't in Bugyaku. It's very likely that it has something to do with the Baolong Mountain. When he comes later, let's ask him properly. Zhang Bujing said softly. Sect Master Zhang, Sect Master Fei, it's been a while since we last met. May I know what brings you two here today? Before they entered the house, Guopai's words had already reached them. Fei Tianyang and Zhang Bujing hurriedly stood up to welcome him. Sect Master Guopai, long time no see. How have you been? The two of them cupped their fists and greeted Guopai. Don't call me Sect Master Guopai. You two look more like Guopai. According to your age, I'll call you two elder brothers. Guopai said with a smile. This little guy should be little Han Wu that I saw at the medicine tower that day. Not bad, not bad. I haven't seen you in a few years and you've grown into a big guy. Bad guy bro, you can still recognize me. That day when you left Mount Shu, you said that you would come to Mount Shu to see me after a year. It's already been 6 years. If Han Wu didn't come down from the mountain, I'm afraid that I wouldn't be able to see Brother Bad Guy again. Little Han Wu said with a pout. Haha, I, Guopai, was wrong in this matter. Let me see what kind of strength you have now, so that I can give you some compensation. Guopai said with a smile. He reached out his hand and shook little Han Wu's hand. Martial Lord Realm, haha. Not bad at all. Wuji really has a way of choosing people. Guopai's face was full of smiles as he thought to himself. I'll give this flying sword to you. Little guy, you practice both sword and chi. This is the real cultivation method of Mount Shu. Not bad. Guopai smiled and handed a miniature version of the flying sword to little Han Wu. Little Han Wu did not stand on ceremony and directly held the flying sword in her hand. You two, don't stand here. Let's go in and have a seat. If there's anything, we can talk about it slowly. Guopai said, and they returned to the house again. Bad brother, you don't come to the temple for no reason. Recently, there's been some problems in Mount Shu. We can't solve it, so Big Grandpa asked me to come to you. Zhang Bujing shook his head and said. Senior medicine addict Zhang asked you to come? Could it be that something happened at the medicine tower? Guopai was stunned and asked softly. Ever since Bad Brother left Mount Shu, Big Grandpa and a few elders of the medicine tower went into seclusion. About half a year later, they came out together. Of course, they brought a lot of good news to Mount Shu. Just the meridian opening pills alone were refined. Zhang Bujing said softly. With the help of those pills, the disciples of Mount Shu improved very quickly. Mount Shu, which was facing a shortage of young people, became popular again. In the first 3 years, Big Grandpa and Grandpa Qing were silent in refining medicine. According to the speed of Mount Shu's development at that time, Mount Shu will definitely return to the peak of Huaxia and Wuxiu in less than 10 years. Zhang Bujing continued unhurriedly. Get to the point. Guopai nodded and said 4 words. 3 years ago, an old man came to Mount Shu and insisted on going to the medicine tower to see the masters of the medicine tower. We didn't know the origin of the old man, so we didn't let him climb the medicine tower. However, the old man stayed in Mount Shu for 7 days. After that, the old man disappeared from the medicine tower. When we saw the old man again, he came out of the medicine tower with Big Grandpa. Big Grandpa was full of respect for him, but from that day on, Big Grandpa and Grandpa Qing stopped refining medicine. The medicine tower suddenly quieted down. Zhang Bujing said softly. Later on the 15th of every month, the old man would go to the medicine tower of Mount Shu. Until half a year ago, the fire mythical beast forced the old man out of the medicine tower. Since then, the old man didn't come to Mount Shu again. However, from that day on, no one in Mount Shu had broken through. Big Grandpa checked the whole Mount Shu but didn't find anything suspicious. That's why he asked us to come down the mountain to find you. I hope Bad Brother can follow us to the mountain to take a look. Forced out of the medicine tower by the fire mythical beast? Guopai said in a daze. When Guohua beside him heard the words fire mythical beast, he couldn't help but shiver. His gaze fell on Guopai. Is the fire mythical beast okay? In the past 6 years, we've only seen the fire mythical beast once. I heard from Great-Grandpa that the fire mythical beast wasn't the 2 from the medicine pagoda back then. The one that forced the old man away should be the child of the 2 fire mythical beasts. Zhang Bujing said softly. Big Grandpa asked us to invite you to Mount Shu to see if there's anything wrong with the 2 fire mythical beasts. Big Grandpa hasn't seen any traces of the 2 fire mythical beasts for 3 years. Then why didn't you come to find me earlier? Guopai didn't say anything. Guohua beside him looked at the 2 hostages and asked. Then, he exerted all his pressure and stared at the 2 of them. Guohua started to feel nervous when he heard that there was no news about his parents in the past 3 years. Guohua, you go back first and make some preparations. Tomorrow morning, follow me to Mount Shu. Guopai waved his hand and the pressure on Guohua disappeared. Guopai said softly to Guohua. Guohua looked at Guopai and nodded gently. Bad Brother, that Guohua beside you just now has already reached the golden core stage at such a young age. He's really amazing, Fei Tianyang said with a trace of surprise. I hope nothing big happened to Mount Shu. Otherwise, with Guohua's temper, Mount Shu would be in chaos. Guopai didn't reply to Fei Tianyang's words and said in his heart. He just wanted to find some time to go to Mount Shu, but he didn't expect something to happen there. Chapter 621. After settling Zhang Bujing and Fei Tianyang down, Guopai brought little Wu Han to Bugyaku. Big Brother Wu Han, I was just about to look for you. Why did you come with Bad Daddy? Little Meng Meng said as she watched Guopai lead little Wu Han into Bugyaku. Little Ling Mo was already a 16-year-old girl. Little Meng Meng and little Ling Mo did not have much in common. However, little Wu Han was a few years older than little Meng Meng. The 2 of them chatted very well. Meng Meng, bring Big Brother Wu Han to play. Daddy still has things to do. After I'm done, let's have a good meal together, Guo Pai said with a smile. After handing little Wu Han to little Meng Meng, the two of them walked away happily. Big brother bad guy, did something happen in Shushan? Yu asked softly when she saw Guo Pai walking over. Guohua just came back. His expression is a little strange. I'll go take a look at Guohua. I'm afraid Shushan is in trouble, Guo Pai said softly. If I'm not wrong, this matter has something to do with the great demon. You should go take a look at Yu first. Recently, the weather has been very chaotic. I've tried divining a few times, but the heavenly secrets have been deceived. I can't divine anything, Yu said softly. Guo Pai walked towards Guohua's room. The door to Guohua's room was open. Guo Pai walked straight in. A few clean clothes were placed beside the bed. Guohua was sitting cross-legged on the bed with his eyes closed. It was as though he had entered a meditative state. Guohua, your heart is so chaotic. Even if you force yourself to enter a meditative state, it won't have any effect. Get up. Let's have a chat. Guo Pai sat on the bed and smiled at Guohua. Bad master, a few days ago, I felt that something was going to happen in Shushan. Later, I couldn't feel it anymore. I didn't expect something to really happen, Guohua said softly. Bad master, can you divine what happened in Shushan? Yura, forget it. I didn't calculate it. Tomorrow morning, I will go to Shushan with the two Shushan sect leaders. You will come with us. You will know what happened then. But you have to promise me that no matter what happens, don't be impulsive and listen to me. Can you do that? Guo Pai said softly. Don't worry, bad master. I'm not a reckless person. Guohua said softly. His parents and elder brother were in Shushan, and he could no longer sense their auras. This was what worried Guohua the most. Time is of the essence. Take these two magic treasures and find a way to make them recognize you as their master. Tomorrow morning, go to Bugyaku and find me. We will go together on our flying swords. Guo Pai finished speaking and left a fire-attributed flying sword and a fire-red bead at Guohua's residence. When Guo Pai returned to Bugyaku, dinner was already prepared. The two sect leaders of Shushan were invited to Bugyaku for dinner. Looking at the room full of experts, the two sect leaders of Shushan were shocked. In the past, I had some relationship with Master Limitless. You can rest assured about Shushan. Tomorrow we will follow Little Bad to Shushan. Nothing will happen. After drinking a few cups of wine, Qi Yun and Li Feng pulled Zhang Bujing and Fei Tianyang and said with a smile. The two originally doubted the identity of Qi Yun and Li Feng. Later, Qi Yun and Li Feng almost revealed some of Shushan's secrets to the world. Zhang Bujing and Fei Tianyang hurriedly pulled the two back. They completely believed that the two old men in front of them were really related to Shushan's old ancestor, Master Limitless. You two don't have to be so nervous. The matters of Mount Shu are no secret to the few of you here. We really don't care about the swordsmanship of your Mount Shu sect. This Wind Nine Yang swordsmanship was created by this old man in the Nine Heavens Purgatory 1,000 years ago. It's not much worse than the Nine Heavens Immortal slaying swordsmanship of Mount Shu. Take a look at it. Wind Separation was generous after drinking some wine. He threw his unique swordsmanship to Zhang Bujing. Thank you, Senior. Zhang Bujing received the secret sword art and sobered up a lot. He hurriedly thanked Li Feng and opened the secret realm. He was immediately attracted by the sword art inside. Exquisite, it was really too exquisite. Zhang Bujing couldn't believe that there was such a sword art in the world. Suddenly, his admiration for the two old men in front of him reached the peak. Sai Shushan has fallen. When Master Limitless discussed the Tao with us, whether it was sword art or inner strength, he could provide unique insight. Now, Shushan is divided into two sects, sword and qi. It's no longer as imposing as it used to be. Qi Yun shook his head and said. A group of old men in the room nodded. Sects were like this. As the saying goes, when a person achieves the Tao, even his chickens and dogs will ascend to heaven. However, this was often not the case. Many sects were like this. After one person ascended, the sect would completely fall. It was already a good result to not be annexed by other sections. After 3 rounds of drinking, they were almost done. Guopai selected the people who would go to Shushan the next day. At this critical moment, if everyone went to Shushan, Guopai would be a little worried about Bugyaku. Finally, he told Qi Yun and Li Feng. Together with Guohua, the 4 of them were going to follow Zhang Bujing and Fei Tianyang back to Shushan to take a look. Tomorrow morning at 4 o'clock, we will fly directly to Shushan on our swords. We will gather in Bugyaku at that time. Guopai said with a smile. Although Qi Yun and Li Feng drank a lot of wine, 4 masters at the peak of the Gold Core realm like them, the wine was nothing. The 2 of them nodded with a smile and went back to sleep. Brother Bad Guy, why don't you bring a few more people? Why don't you let Uncle Ao or Lord Water follow you? If there is really a great devil, you can save some effort. Yuer looked at everyone leaving and said with a smile. First wife, Shushan is a human sect. Let the humans deal with it themselves. Although Uncle Ao and Lord Water will be safer with them, now is not the time to expose them. Sooner or later, we will have a fierce battle with the great devil. At that time, we will let Uncle Ao and Lord Water take action. Guopai said softly. Yuer nodded and didn't ask any more. After a sleepless night, at 4 o'clock, Qi Yun and Li Feng arrived at Guopai's residence in Bugyaku. Zhang Bujing and Fei Tianyang had also arrived before them. Only Guohua hadn't come yet. Everyone, please wait here for a moment. I will go look for Guohua. I guess he still hasn't figured out the 2 magic treasures I gave him. Guopai said with a smile. However, he had a bad premonition in his mind. Bad Master, I can't wait until tomorrow. I have already made the 2 magic treasures recognize me as their master. Guohua has already gone to Shushan. Bad Master, please don't blame me. Guopai walked into Guohua's room and saw a line of words neatly written on a piece of white paper. Guopai helplessly shook his head. Yesterday, he gave the magic treasures to Guohua in the hope that he would go with him to Shushan to investigate. He didn't expect that Guohua would still go first. Let's go. We have to speed up. Guohua has already gone to Shushan. Guopai said softly to the 4 people. The 4 people nodded. Zhang Bujing and Fei Tianyang had reached the core formation stage with the help of medicinal pills in recent years. Flying on their swords was naturally not a problem for them. The 5 people directly flew towards Shushan. I don't know what happened to the fire god beast. Guohua, don't be impulsive. Chapter 622. Guopai and the rest flew at an extremely fast speed on their flying sword. 3 of them were at the pinnacle of the Golden Core Realm and 2 were at the Deshang stage of the Golden Core Realm. Guopai and the rest did not conceal their aura along the way. Along the way, they tormented many Wu Xiu cultivators who were meditating. Shu Mountain's mountain protecting array is not broken. How did that mysterious old man enter Shu Mountain that day? Didn't you check? Guopai and the rest came to the front of the Shu Mountain protecting array and could not help but ask Zhang Bujing and Fei Tianyang. There's a hole in the Shu Mountain protecting array. Guohua has already arrived at Shu Mountain. Zhang Bujing and Fei Tianyang were shocked. The 2 of them did not expect that there would be a hole in the Shu Mountain protecting array that had protected Shu Mountain for thousands of years. How was this possible? Let's go. Let's talk about it after we reach Shu Mountain. Qi Yun said. He naturally also found the hole in the Shu Mountain protecting array and flew directly into Shu Mountain. Who are you? Tell me your name. As soon as they entered Shu Mountain, a few Shu Mountain disciples noticed Qi Yun and Li Feng. They immediately surrounded the 2 of them and asked loudly. Scram, scram. A bunch of scum. Do what you're supposed to do. Qi Yun said loudly to the few Shu Mountain disciples. He had never been questioned like this in his life. Obviously, The two old men were not happy to be questioned like this. Leave quickly. Don't be rude to the two seniors. Before Qi Yun's voice fell, Zhang Bujing, Fei Tianyang, and Guo Pai had already entered Shu Mountain. Zhang Bujing hurriedly said to the Shu Mountain disciples, "Greetings, sect master." The group of Shu Mountain disciples saw Zhang Bujing and Fei Tianyang and hurriedly bowed to the two of them. There's no need to bow. Some time ago, did a red-haired young man enter Shu Mountain? Where is he now? Guo Pai was not polite to the group of Shu Mountain disciples and asked loudly, "Red-haired young man? We've been on Wuji Peak all this time and have not seen any red-haired young man." The leader of the group of patrolling Shu Mountain disciples hurriedly said, "Impossible. I've already sensed Guo Hua's aura in Shushan." Guo Pai shook his head and said, "The two of you, I want to borrow the Shu Mountain's rest returning platform to see if Guo Hua has gone to the Medicine Pagoda." Guo Pai did not wait for Zhang Fei and the other two to agree. He directly flew towards the rest returning platform. The group of Shushan disciples looked at Guo Pai and then at the two sect masters. The sect masters did not object. They could not be bothered to compete with such an expert. "Go to the elders' mansion and call the few elders of Shushan here. There's something important." Zhang Bujing recalled that the few of them had mentioned that there was something wrong with the Mount Shu Grand Array and hurriedly said to the Mount Shu disciples. The few of them quickly walked towards the elders' mansion. Guo Pai stepped onto the rest returning platform. Apart from being useful for healing injuries, the rest returning platform could also be used to search for people. However, apart from Guo Pai, no one in Shushan knew how to use the rest returning platform. Guo Pai fiddled with the rest returning platform for the time it took for an incense stick to burn. He whispered the word "search," and the 18 pieces of yin-yang twin jade around him slowly floated up. Guo Pai's shadow appeared on a transparent first-class jade in front of Guo Pai. Guo Hua had sneaked into Shushan. The group of Shushan disciples did not discover him. After Guo Hua ascended the Wuji Peak, he went straight to Froda. Since Guo Pai had been guiding him in his cultivation all these years, the array formation of Froda did not pose a problem for Guo Hua. Guo Pai heaved a sigh of relief. It was good that everything was fine. However, before he could finish heaving a sigh of relief, Guo Hua's shadow appeared on the first-class jade again. Guo Hua came down from Froda with a gloomy face with a fire elemental flying sword in his hand. Then, he left Shushan. Of course, the Mount Shu disciples did not see any of this. Something must have happened to Guo Hua's parents and his twin brother. Otherwise, this kid would not be so angry. Guo Pai's expression turned serious. "Sect masters, I'm going to take a look at the medicine tower. Brother Qi, Brother Li, the two of you should help Shushan fix their mountain protecting array first." After saying that, Guo Pai flew in the direction of Froda. The array formation outside Froda did not affect Guo Pai at all. "Is drug addict Zhang around?" Guo Pai entered Froda and shouted from the first floor of Froda. At this time, several old men appeared on the first floor of Froda at the same time. "Little rascal, it's been a while since we last met. Your strength has improved by leaps and bounds," medicine addict Zhang said as he looked at Guo Pai. Qing Dakuan and the other elders nodded in agreement. "Old masters, you all seem to be in good spirits. I wonder if anyone can tell me about the mysterious old man that appeared in Shu Mountain a few days ago. What exactly is going on?" Guo Pai looked at the old men and asked with a smile. "Little bad, take a look at these prescriptions first." Drug addict Zhang did not answer Guo Pai's question. He just handed a few animal skins to Guo Pai. Guo Pai could feel that the animal skins handed to him by drug addict Zhang were extraordinary without looking at them. Yin Yang Divine Pill, 9 Yang Life Extending Pill, 9 Stars Great Supplement Pill. Guo Pai looked at the first 3 animal skins and narrowed his eyes. "Old man, these prescriptions aren't given to Shushan for free, right?" "Such precious prescriptions. Even if they were given to us for free, we wouldn't dare to take them. Drug addict Zhang smiled and said, Daoist Nun Linglong's alchemy skills are not inferior to Little Yu's. Take a look at these elixirs. With that, drug addict Zhang handed a jade bottle to Guopai. Guopai took the jade bottle and opened it a little. A medicinal fragrance wafted out. However, a moment later, Guopai's face turned gloomy. Little Bad, is there a problem with this medicine? Drug addict Zhang naturally noticed the change in Guopai and asked softly. 9 worms and 9 herbs God-sealing pill. Old man, do you know what effect this pill has? Guo Shuai asked in a gloomy voice. Daoist Nun Linglong said that if an ordinary person takes this pill, regardless of whether it's Wu Xiu or not, they can directly enter the fasting realm. We haven't found anyone to try such a miraculous medicine. Drug addict Zhang said excitedly. Fortunately, you haven't found anyone to test the medicine. Otherwise, you would really be a sinner of Shushan. Take out all the elixirs and prescriptions that Daoist Nun Linglong gave you. I think it's more likely that Poison Demon and Medicine Demon worked together to set this up, Guopai said with a gloomy face. Little Bad, what you're doing is not right. Before drug addict Zhang could say anything, Ching Dakuan stood up and said, Do you think I want to take advantage of your Shushan? Guopai was so angry that he laughed. If you want Shushan to be finished, then keep those elixirs. Do you think you've obtained treasures after being set up by others? Don't tell me you guys haven't sensed anything amiss recently? Looking at Guopai's expression, it didn't seem like he wanted to take advantage of Shushan. If Guopai wanted to take advantage of Shushan, Ching Dakuan had already lost to Guopai in the medicine tower last time. The few elders were a little scared. I'll go take a look at the fire mythical beast first. If anything happens to it, you'll really be a sinner of Shushan. I really don't know what Master Wuji was thinking back then. Why did he leave Froda in Shushan? Guopai shook his head helplessly and turned to fly to the top of Froda. Even in Shushan, very few people had been to the fire mythical beast's residence in recent years. Old man Zhang, are we really wrong? Chapter 623. Guopai flew all the way to Froda. The higher he went, the worse his mood became. The fire mythical beast lived on the top floor of Froda. Theoretically, the higher he went, the higher the temperature should be. However, the situation now was the opposite. When he was about to reach the top, the temperature suddenly dropped. Something happened to the fire mythical beast. Guopai had already guessed some things before he arrived at the fire mythical beast's residence. Roar! Just as Guopai appeared at the fire mythical beast's residence, a loud roar rang in Guopai's ears. A red-furred fire mythical beast pounced on Guopai. Behave yourself. The source of fire in your body has been taken away, and you still have such a bad temper. Take this elixir. Where are your parents? Guopai blocked the fire mythical beast that was charging at him. Then, he stuffed a blood-red elixir into the big guy's mouth. The fire mythical beast swallowed the elixir, and his aura suddenly increased. He looked at Guopai and suddenly remembered who the person in front of him was. He lay on the ground obediently. Guopai did not hesitate. He leaped and landed on the fire mythical beast's body. In about a minute, the fire mythical beast brought Guopai to a very hidden place. There was even a formation outside. Guopai nodded. The fire mythical beast stood obediently beside Guopai. Guopai drew a dozen strange patterns outside the formation. The formation outside was broken by Guopai. Come out. I'm Guopai. Guopai said softly. Then, 2 fire mythical beasts that were much smaller than the fire mythical beast in front of him slowly walked out. Guopai could clearly feel that one of them had suffered serious internal injuries. Take this elixir. Don't move first. I have something to ask you. Guopao said. Then he took out 2 pills and placed them in the mouths of the 2 divine beasts. You were poisoned, and then the source of fire in your body was taken away, right? Guopai looked at the fire mythological beast couple, and asked softly. One of the two big guys nodded, while the other shook his head. Your source of fire hasn't been taken away by anyone, so why can't I feel the aura of the fire element in your body? Guopai continued to ask. The big guy couldn't explain it to Guopai. Guohua was here before. You passed your origin of fire to Guohua, right? Guopao thought for a moment and felt that it must be so, because when he saw Guohua leave the everlasting peak, Guopao could feel that Guohua's strength had improved by quite a bit. He must have inherited the origin of fire. Hearing Guopai's words, the big guy nodded. Where did Guohua go? Do you think Guohua is a match for the person who poisoned you and took away your source of fire? Guopai asked loudly again. Guopai had been with him for several years and cultivated seriously every day. Guopai had already regarded him as his own disciple. If anything happened to Guohua, Guopai would definitely be furious. Hearing Guopai's words, the two divine beasts looked at each other, their faces full of annoyance. However, the other divine beast next to them seemed to want to say something. Strenuous. I'll protect you. Take this shape-shifting elixir. We can't care so much now. Guopai said as he stuffed a 9-colored elixir into Little Fire's mouth. Guopai took out a few more elixirs that contained a lot of energy and stuffed them into Little Fire's mouth, as if they were free. Little Fire mythological beast roared, and then slowly turned into a human. His appearance was surprisingly similar to Guohua. Because he was in Froda, he avoided the heavenly thunder. You're older than Guohua. Do you know where your brother went? Guopai looked at Little Fire mythological beast, who had just turned into a human, and asked. My brother found out that my parents and I were seriously injured. After getting the inheritance of the source of fire from my mother's body, he said that he was going to avenge us and left, Little Fire mythological beast said softly. Do you know where he went? Guopai asked loudly. Although I don't know where he went, our hearts are connected. I roughly know where he went. It's a pity that I'm too weak. Otherwise, I could take you to find him, Little Fire mythological beast said softly. Take care of your injuries. I'll take him to find Guohua. Don't worry, I won't let anything happen to your son. After saying that, Guopai flew up and directly pulled Little Fire mythological beast, who had just turned into a human, and rushed to the bottom of Froda. Little Bad, we've thought it through. These things were given to us by Taoist Nun Ling Long. Now we're giving them to you. Tell us what happened to Mount Shu. When they reached the first floor of Froda, Medicine Addict Zhang and the others put a pile of things on the ground with a regretful face and said to Guopai. It's too late. It's all too late. I don't have time to care about Mount Shu now. Just pray that Guohua is fine. If anything happens to Guohua, I don't care whether Mount Shu lives or dies in the future. Why should I clean up the mess left by Wuji when he ascended to the heaven realm? Guopai said a bunch of words that the group of elders did not understand and disappeared from Froda. Who is Guohua? It seems like something big is going to happen in Shu Mountain. Let's go out and ask Bujing and Tianyang what happened. After Medicine Addict Zhang finished speaking, he left with a group of Shu Mountain elders who hadn't left the medical tower for 100 years. Brother Qi, Brother Li, come with me. Let's go save Guohua first. Guopai appeared at Wuji Peak again. He did not have time to explain to them. He pulled the two of them up and flew into the sky again, leaving Zhang Bujing and Fei Tianyang in a daze. Little Bad, how did you get another fire mythological beast? Although it's not as good as Guohua, this little guy will probably be a good fighter in the future if we train him. Qi Yun still did not understand what was going on. His gaze fell on the young man behind Guopai, who he had been pulling. Your brother is called Guohua. You'll be called Big Fire. It's easier to call you out, Guopai said to Little Fire mythological beast, who had transformed into a human behind him. Feel where Guohua went. Big Fire nodded. Because he had taken the elixir given by Guopai, his perception was better than before. In addition, he and Guo Pai were brothers. In just a few breaths, he could roughly feel where Guo Huo flew to. The sea. Guo Huo went to the sea. Guo Pai and Qi Li followed Big Fire's direction and flew towards the East Sea. Not good. If Guo Huo fights with someone at sea, he will definitely suffer. Let's hurry. After saying that, Guo Pai and the others sped up again. At that moment, Guo Pai was standing in front of a mansion on the sea in the East Sea, a fire attribute flying sword in hand. Guo Huo had already broken through the array, but he had yet to rush into the mansion. It's here. They took away father and brother's fire essence. That person's strength should have reached the gold core stage, Guo Huo said to himself. Guo Huo did not enter. Several people appeared before Guo Huo. One of them, an old man, narrowed his eyes as he looked at Guo Huo. According to his parents' description, this old man should be the one who went to the medical tower to drug his parents and later took away the fire essence from his father and brother. Sir said that there are 4 fire essences in the human realm. I spent a lot of effort to find 2. I didn't expect you to send the remaining 2 over. Good, very good. Since you've sent it over, this old woman will accept it. Chapter 624. Within the East Sea, a group of people had surrounded a red-haired youngster. The red-haired youngster was none other than Guo Huo. Ling Long, you want your source of fire. The sword in this little fellow's hand is no ordinary item. I will help you deal with this kid later. When the time comes, this sword will be mine, Fan Xinghai's. An old man beside Nun Ling Long stared at the plane in Guo Huo's hand and spoke with greed. Brother Fan, as long as you make your move, that item will be yours. Nun Ling Long said with a smile. As for the others, if you are willing to help this old granny deal with this little fellow, this old granny is willing to split the rest of the items equally with you, Nun Ling Long said with a smile. Several of them brought out their weapons and magic treasures as they stared at Guo Huo. Originally, I only wanted to deal with this old granny and take back my items. Unexpectedly, so many people came to give me gift. If so, I, Guo Huo, will not hold back. Originally, Guo Huo's strength was already at the golden core stage. With the addition of the magic treasures that Guo Pai gave him, his strength had increased greatly. Although there were 3 golden core stage experts surrounding him, Guo Huo was confident that he could deal with them all. A brat who is still wet behind the ears dares to spout such arrogant words? Eat my sword. A middle-aged man stabbed his sword at Guo Huo. With this level of strength you dare to use a sword? Die. Guo Huo roared out and the fire-type sword in his hand met the middle-aged man. When the 2 swords collided, the quality of the sword was immediately revealed. The sword that Guo Pai gave Guo Huo was called Parting Fire. It was an imitation of the sword used by Zhurong, the ancestor of fire. Although it was an imitation, it was more than enough to deal with the various magic treasures in the hands of the loose cultivators from the East Sea. A good item, truly a good item. I must obtain this flying sword. Fan Xinghai watched as the sword of one of his men was cut into 2 by Guo Huo's sword. However, he did not show any intention of helping. Instead, he laughed, a very happy laugh. Including Nun Ling Long, Fan Xinghai, and an old man, the 3 gold core stage experts did not make a move. The other core formation stage experts were defeated in just a few minutes. I can't tell which sect he's from in Huaxia, but he's not weak. Ling Long, Xinghai, let's fight him together. The golden core stage expert who had been silent all this time said to Nun Ling Long and Fan Xinghai with a smile. Haha, old one. It's been a few hundred years and I've never seen you say something so embarrassing. 3 against 1, I like it. After Fan Xinghai finished speaking, he nodded to Elder Wan and Nun Ling Long. The 3 of them rushed towards Guo Huo. Gold core stage experts were much more powerful than core formation stage experts. Guo Huo did not dare to be careless. In addition to the flying sword in his right hand, his left hand also took out the magic weapon Guo Pai gave him. Ling Long, you want the fire source and Xinghai wants the flying sword. Then the bead in this little child's left hand is mine. Elder Wan said with a smile. Before his voice faded, the three of them had already rushed to Guohua's side. Although Guohua was also in the gold core stage, and had 2 good magic weapons in his hand, under the siege of Nun Ling Long and the other 2, he gradually fell into a disadvantageous position in about 10 minutes. This little child is very good. Unfortunately, he's not a disciple of my Thousand Cloud sect. Since he's not useful to me, I must destroy him. Ling Long, Xinghai, take advantage of his weakness to take his life. Thousand Cloud sect of the Eastern Sea was not a small sect. The sect master Wan Yun was the old man who spoke. Haha, old Wan, for the magic weapon, I see that you're really serious. Since that's the case, then hurry up and deal with this little child. Fan Xinghai said with a smile. Guohua's face became even uglier. Little child, leave the thing behind and we'll leave your corpse intact. Nun Ling Long said loudly. Corpse intact your sister, Guohua said. Just as the 3 magic weapons were about to hit his body, an extremely powerful energy burst out from Guohua's body. For the first time since Guohua transformed into his human form, he once again transformed into his fire divine beast form. I said, hand over the fire origin and I'll spare your life. Guohua, who had transformed into his fire divine beast form, narrowed his eyes as he looked at Nun Ling Long and said loudly, Haha, Nun, this time we've really struck gold. It's actually a Xian beast that has entered the form transformation stage. For a Xian beast of this level, whether it's dead or alive, it's the same for us. Every part of its body is a treasure. Leaving it alive is not easy. Let's just kill it. Just this Xian beast's corpse, haha. Kill it. Fan Xinghai said loudly. Let's end this quickly. Otherwise, if other people in the Eastern Sea find out about it, it won't be ours anymore. Ling Long roared. Her strength rose again as she charged towards Guohua. Die. You dared to hurt my parents and my brothers. You deserve to die. Guohua, who had transformed into his fire divine beast form, had reached the pinnacle of the gold core stage. Under the siege of 3 people, Guohua did not fall into a disadvantageous position. After about 10 minutes, Ling Long and the other 2 were battered and exhausted under Guohua's powerful attack. If you have any tricks up your sleeve, don't hide them. If this continues, we'll all be finished. Wan Yun said loudly. A pitch-black long sword appeared in his hand. When the long sword appeared, Nun Ling Long and Fan Xinghai both widened their eyes. Old Wan, so this treasure sword was obtained by you. You've hidden it well. Fan Xinghai narrowed his eyes and said, after dealing with this big guy in front of us, we'll have a good talk about this treasure sword. After saying that, Fan Xinghai put away his long sword and replaced it with a Buddhist staff, I'll control this big guy. You guys think of a way to kill him. Nun Ling Long gritted her teeth. A seemingly small fishing net appeared in her hand. However, when the fishing net appeared, Guohua, who had transformed into his fire divine beast form, could not help but shiver. This thing was definitely not a good thing for him. 9 God trapping net, collect! Nun Ling Long shouted. The fishing net in her hand flew towards Guohua. A powerful pressure fell on Guohua's body. Guohua wanted to dodge the fishing net but was unable to move. After the fishing net landed on Guohua's body, it rapidly expanded, trapping Guohua within. Fan Xinghai and Wan Yun exchanged glances and laughed together. Hurry up and deal with this brat. I can't hold on for too long. Nun Ling Long shouted at the 2 of them. She was feeling even more anxious. The backlash from using the 9 God trapping net was not small. She did not expect the 2 old fellows to be laughing like idiot. Hearing Nun Ling Long's words, the 2 of them looked at her. At this moment, Nun Ling Long's face was deathly pale. Fan Xinghai and Wan Yun knew that they had to hurry up and kill Guohua. Nun Ling Long really could not hold on for too long. Ling Long, hold on for another 10 breaths. Old Wan, let's go together. After Fan Xinghai said that, The two of them took out their magic treasures and charged towards Guopai. It's over. This time, I'm afraid I'll have to fight my way in. If I had known, I would have waited for this bad lord. Guohua thought to himself, vexed. Chapter 6:25. Bang! Just as Guohua saw the sword and staff hitting his body, a white light flashed and blocked the two weapons. Pu. Nun Linglong, Fan Xinghai, and Wan Yun all coughed up blood at the same time. Fan Xinghai and Wan Yun were better off, as they had put away their magic treasures. However, Nun Linglong had lost contact with her 9 god-trapping net. She had lost contact with her natal magic treasure. Nun Linglong forced herself to focus, wanting to see who the 4 people flying over were. What do you mean by this? We were the first to discover this mystical beast. We are already halfway through the fight. Could it be that you want to rob us? Wan Yun forcefully endured the pain of the backlash from having his natal magic artifact destroyed and asked the 4 people flying over from afar. You discovered it first? Rob your sister. You dare to make a move on my people? It seems like this young master's reputation in the East Sea is not enough. The 4 people flying over were Guopai's group of 4. Fan Xinghai and Wan Yun's magic treasure was the throwing knife in Guopai's hand. Your people? You say this big guy is your people? Ridiculous. I have never seen such a shameless person who would rob others. If the other loose cultivators in the East Sea knew about this, you are dead. Fan Xinghai scolded loudly. He did not manage to deal with Guohua, and his life source magic treasure was damaged by the magic treasure of this young man. At this moment, Fan Xinghai's mood was very bad. Guohua, what's wrong? You don't have the face to see me? Quickly transform into your human form. This young master is not comfortable talking to you. Guohua said loudly to Guohua. Guohua transformed into his human form and stood in front of Guopai. Bad master, I have lost face for you, Guopai said with his head drooped. Take this pill and recover your injuries. I will take care of the rest. Guopai said with a smile. Brother Qi, Brother Li, I know you are embarrassed to make a move on a woman. Leave that Nun Linglong to me. As for the rest, tie them up for me. After Guopai finished speaking, he directly flew towards Linglong Nun. Qi Yun and Li Feng also directly used their magic weapons to control Fan Xinghai and Wan Yun. The other core formation stage experts who wanted to escape were also tied up. You were the one who poisoned Mount Shu, weren't you? Nun Linglong, I wonder what your relationship is with Poison Demon or Medicine Demon. Guopai squinted his eyes at the old woman before him and asked with a smile. Poison from Shushan? What poison demon, medicine demon? I don't know what you're talking about, Nun Linglong said with a blank expression. Guopai looked at Nun Linglong's expression and felt a little depressed. Does the poison of Mount Shu have nothing to do with this old woman? Then who was it that had infiltrated Shu Mountain and poisoned them? If it wasn't you, then why did you go to Shushan and force the fire god beast out of its body? Guopai asked loudly. First, hand over the fire god beast. Nun Linglong suddenly thought of something and loudly said to Guopai, Brat, this fire god beast has already transformed into a human. Since it has followed you, I will not take the fire god beast from its body. However, I advise you that there are some things that you better not get involved in. Although your strength is not weak, it is still far from being comparable to master. First, hand over the fire god beast. I want to see what kind of person your master is. Guopai squinted his eyes and said. He could feel that Linglong was being controlled by someone. Humph, here you go, brat. Sooner or later, you will know how powerful master is. Ha ha. After Nun Linglong finished speaking, her eyes suddenly widened and there was no longer a trace of life. Guopai couldn't help but shake his head. His guess was right. Linglong was being controlled by someone. It was impossible for him to use the enslavement technique. Dead. She died just like that. Guohuo looked at the fallen Nun Linglong and couldn't help but mutter to himself. Guopai took back the 2 fire god beads and threw them to Guohuo. Guohua, the one beside you is your brother. You can do as you see fit with the fire god bead. Your father not only lost his fire god beads, but he was also poisoned. It is a poison that I have no way of curing. You guys go back to Shushan first. I will take a walk with Brother Qi and Brother Li, Guopai said softly. Brother, I have 2 fire god beads on me. You can take them. You go back to Shushan first. I will follow Master Bad. After I am done, I will return to Shushan to find you guys. Guohuo looked at Big Fire, who looked exactly like him, and said softly. Big Fire nodded and swallowed the fire god beads into its stomach. Then, it flew in the direction of Shushan. After sending Big Fire away, Guohuo knelt in front of Guopai and said softly, Master Bad, I was wrong. However, let me follow you first. When we return to the imperial capital, I will accept any punishment. Get up first. This is the first and last time. You are my man. However, if you act on your own again, you will no longer be my man. I will not save you. Guopai said it lightly. However, Guohuo knew that if there was a next time, Guopai would no longer care about him. Little Bad, what do you plan to do next? How do you plan to deal with these people? Qi Yun asked with a smile. This was the first time they had fought after coming out of 9 Heavens Purgatory. Unfortunately, the opponents were a little weak. Guopai used the soul-searching technique on the few people who attacked. However, he didn't find anything. Because of Guopai's soul-searching technique, the few people who were soul-searched would no longer have any breakthroughs in the future. There are some old friends in the East Sea. Let's walk around the East Sea together and see if we can find any clues. After Guopai finished speaking, he led the 3 of them and flew towards the East Sea auction house. Who are you? The few of them broke through the array formation outside the auction house. Just as they entered the auction house, several guards of the Ding family walked to their side and asked Guopai in a loud voice. Quickly go and tell Ding Luoyu that Guopai is here. Guopai said with a smile. When the few of them heard the 2 words Guopai, they immediately became excited. Guopai's reputation in the East Sea was not small. The few of them didn't dare to neglect him. One of them went to inform Ding Luoyu, while the others led Guopai and the others to the reception room of the auction house. What a rare guest. Bad guy, I was wondering why I felt so refreshed early in the morning. It turns out that an honored guest has come knocking. Guopai and the others had just sat down when Ding Luoyu walked in with a smile on his face. The people beside him were not outsiders. Several elders of the Ding family looked at Guopai and the others and nodded with smiles on their faces. I haven't come to visit little brother for quite some time. Today, I happened to be in the East Sea to handle some matters. So, I thought I'd drop by and ask little brother some questions, Guopai said with a smile. There are no outsiders here. Bad guy, just say what you want to say, Ding Luoyu said with a smile. Does little brother Luoyu know Nun Linglong? Guopai asked with a smile. Has anything strange happened in the East Sea recently? Nun Linglong, the sect master of the East Sea's exquisite refinement sect? Why is Little Bad suddenly asking about her? Nun Linglong hasn't left the exquisite refinement sect for 100 years, Ding Rulong said with a smile. Chapter 626. Exquisite Refinement Sect, Uncle Long. Where is the Exquisite Refinement Sect located? Guopai asked softly. South of the East Sea. I'm not too sure about the exact location. I've only heard the name Nun Linglong from my family's elders. Little Bad, why are you looking for Nun Linglong? If there's anything, I can ask someone to help you inquire about it, Ding Rulong said with a smile. It's not a big deal. The Heavenly Tao Sect's elders asked me to inquire about it. Guopai did not tell Ding Rulong about Nun Linglong and the others. I wonder if anything strange has happened in the East Sea recently? Strange? What strange things could happen in the East Sea? Aside from some personal grudges, everyone is already used to it. What other strange things could happen? Ding Luoyu said with a smile, "Bad guy, I'll take you to see some good things in a while. Let's have lunch together. We haven't seen each other for a long time, let's have a good chat." Guo Pai nodded and introduced Qi Yun and the others to Ding Lu. Ding Luoyu had several elders accompany Qi Yun and Li Feng while he led Guo Pai to the auction house's treasure room. "Bad guy, I guarantee that this thing will definitely catch your eye." Along the way, Ding Luoyu did not tell Guo Pai what it was. He kept saying that it was something good for refining pills. Guo Pai was very much looking forward to it. "You guys guard outside, don't let anyone in." Ding Luoyu instructed the several people guarding the entrance of the treasure room. He then led Guo Pai into the treasure room. In the past year, the auction house had collected a lot of good things. However, there were not many things that caught Guo Pai's eye. Ever since he saw so many magic treasures and pills in the Nine Heavens Purgatory, Guo Pai was not interested in ordinary things. "Brother Luoyu, what exactly is it? Don't keep me in suspense. I also have a few good things on me. If I take a fancy to your item, I won't take it for free. I'll exchange it with you. You won't lose out," Guo Pai said with a smile. The two of them walked in front of a big shelf and Ding Luoyu pulled out a big box. "Hee bad guy, you're very knowledgeable. I wonder if you've seen this before." After saying that, Ding Luoyu slowly opened the big box. A powerful energy aura emerged from the box. However, what Guo Pai sensed was not an energy aura, but a familiar feeling. Ancient demon insect corpses. If this wasn't the corpses of ancient demon insects, then what could it be? Guo Pai opened his eyes wide. The insect corpses in front of him were different from the 10,000 insect corpses he had found last time. These insect corpses had wings. They were much more terrifying than the insect corpses he had found last time. "Bad guy, how is it? You haven't seen these ancient insect corpses, right? The alchemists of our Ding clan have studied these things. Although they don't know what these ancient insect corpses can do, they are definitely effective in healing injuries. I brought Bad Guy here this time to see if these things can be used to refine more powerful pills." Ding Luoyu looked at the surprised expression on Guo Pai's face and said with a smile, "Powerful elixirs, of course, could be refined into powerful elixirs. Since the discovery of the demon insects' corpses, several human experts had told Guo Shuai about the demon insects. Soul-devouring pill, demon breath pill, spirit-shattering pill, and some other highly toxic elixirs were all related to the demon insects' corpses. "Brother, who gave you this thing?" Guo Pai didn't answer Ding Luoyu's question. Instead, he asked in a soft voice. "An unknown rogue cultivator from the East Sea. He said that he accidentally found this thing when he was excavating a new cave mansion. For such a big box of treasures, I only spent 100,000 mid-grade ores. Bad guy, what do you think? This time, your brother has made a big profit," Ding Luoyu said with a complacent look on his face. You have made a big profit. Indeed, you have made a big profit," Guo Pai said with a smile. He took out a wingless devil insect corpse from his body and handed it to Ding Luoyu. "Brother, take a look at this thing. Does it look similar to your ancient insect corpses?" Ding Luoyu looked at the devil insect corpse that Guo Pai handed to him with a surprised look on his face. "Bad guy, I thought that I had found something that you had never seen before. It turns out that you have one as well. However, your ancient insect corpse doesn't have wings and its aura doesn't seem to be as strong as mine. Bad guy, since you have this thing, you should know how to use it to refine medicine. It would be a waste for me to keep this box of treasures in the auction house. Take it and give it to me. I can use it to refine pills," Ding Luoyu said with a smile. "Brother Luoyu, how many people in the East Sea know about this ancient insect corpse? Also, that rogue cultivator you mentioned, where is he now? Can you find him?" Guo Pai asked in a soft voice. "He has already left. As for where he is now, I really don't know." Generally, when people come to our auction house to trade, we are not allowed to ask about the origin of the items. This is the rule of the auction house. As for this insect corpse, other than a few elders and alchemists of our Ding family, I have not told anyone else. Ding Luoyu seemed to have realized that something was wrong and said in a soft voice, "Brother Luoyu, there are some things that I must tell you. Don't be nervous and don't make a fuss. Let me finish first." Guopai's serious expression made Ding Luoyu feel that this matter was really serious. It seemed to be related to his pile of treasures. "Bad guy, if you have something to say, just say it directly. Is there a problem with these ancient insect corpses?" Ding Luoyu asked in a soft voice. Guopai nodded and began to tell Ding Luoyu about the ancient demon insects. Of course, Guopai did not tell Ding Luoyu about some great demons. Even so, Ding Luoyu was still frightened and broke out in a cold sweat. "Bad guy, what should I do now? Many alchemists of our Ding family have used their bodies to test the medicine. Is there any way to save them?" Ding Luoyu asked with a trace of annoyance. "Gather all the people of the Ding family who have come into contact with these demon insect corpses. I will take a look at them. If I can save them, I will think of a way. If I can't save them, then there is no other way." Guopai said softly, "Also, send someone to find the whereabouts of that itinerant cultivator. It would be best if they could find him. I don't know how many demon insect corpses there are. Once someone in the East Sea comes into contact with these things, the East Sea will be in trouble." Ding Luoyu and Guopai walked out of the treasure vault. The two of them, who were originally happy, had gloomy expressions. The group of people from the Ding family did not know what had happened, but they did not dare ask. "Third uncle, go and gather all the people who have come into contact with the insect corpses I told you about last time in the open space in front of the auction house," Ding Luoyu said softly to Ding Rulong. Seeing that Ding Luoyu's expression was not good, Ding Rulong did not ask any more questions. He hurriedly went to gather the alchemists of the auction house and those who had taken the insect corpses. "Third elder, fifth elder, do you still remember the person called Yi Qingfeng who sent the big box last time? Send someone to find the whereabouts of this person. Bad guy has something to ask him," Ding Luoyu said softly to the two elders. "Luoyu, this is a little against the rules of the auction house," the third elder said softly. "Go, I will take responsibility if anything happens." Chapter 627. Ding Luoyu arranged everything and took Guopai to a place in the auction house that was rarely visited by ordinary people. Even the people from the elder's mansion did not know who lived in this place. "Bad guy, the person we are going to meet is my master. Very few people in the auction house, and even the entire Ding family, know about my master's existence. I think you can talk to my master about this matter," Ding Luoyu said softly. Guopai nodded. The two of them walked to a very simple place. However, the array outside the house made Guopai feel that the person living inside was not ordinary. "Luoyu, bring little Yu in. Recently, I have divined that the Ding family will face some calamities, but a benefactor will help us. I think the benefactor is little Yu in front of us." A deep voice came from the house. The array outside the house opened automatically. Guopai and Ding Luoyu walked in. "Master." Ding Luoyu knelt on the ground and shouted respectfully. "Get up, Guopai and little Yu. Sit anywhere you like." An old man stood in the middle of the house, looked at the two of them, and said with a smile, "Old master, do we know each other? Your body has an aura that I used to be very familiar with." Guopai felt a familiar feeling in his heart from the moment he walked into the room. "With your age, we should not know each other." Ding Luoyu's master was stunned at first. Then, he shook his head and said, "How should I address you, old master? Maybe someone in our Tiandao sect knows you." Guopai asked with a smile. "Yuan Tiangang. I don't know if anyone in little Yu's sect knows me," the old man said softly. His voice was not loud, but Guopai and Ding Luoyu heard it clearly. Master, Master, you are Yuan Tiangang. Your name is like the bright moon that covers 1,000 autumns, and your voice is like spring thunder that shakes the past and present. How is this possible? Ding Luoyu said with his eyes wide open. He couldn't imagine that the old man he accidentally saved in the East Sea was Yuan Tiangang of the Tang dynasty, a godlike existence. However, if his master was really from the Tang dynasty, how old was his master now? He should be more than 1,000 years old. Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng often get together and talk about the world. Together, they lay back to back on the ground, one writing and the other drawing, leaving behind a miraculous book of prophecy for future generations. No wonder there was a familiar feeling. I can't call you old master anymore, Guo Pai said with a smile. Little you are an old friend? Yuan Tiangang was stunned and asked softly. Brother Luoyu, I have something to say to your master. It's not that I don't want you to know, but there are some things that will have a bad impact on you if you know. Brother, stay aside first. Guo Pai said and directly pulled Ding Luoyu into another space. Although the three of them could see each other, Ding Luoyu couldn't hear what Guo Pai and his master were talking about. Little friend, now that there are no outsiders, just the two of us, you can say whatever you want to say. Yuan Tiangang said with a smile. He felt that Guo Pai was very special, but he couldn't figure out what kind of intersection this Guo Pai had with himself. Old Yuan, I haven't seen you for a long time. How are you? Guo Pai's voice suddenly changed and became the voice of Chen Qingyuan. Yuan Tiangang widened his eyes and said, Old Yuan, I haven't seen you for 1,000 years. Can't you recognize my voice? Impossible. How is this possible? You are brother Qingyuan. You are Chen Qingyuan of the Qin village. Yuan Tiangang asked with a trembling body. He couldn't imagine that he would meet his close friend Chen Qingyuan here. No, it should be the reincarnation of Chen Qingyuan. Nothing is impossible. Old Yuan, how did you end up like this? When I ascended to the heaven realm, you and brother Chun Feng couldn't be officials in the heavenly court because of the ***, but you should live a free life as an individual immortal. How could you be in the human world? Guo Pai asked softly. After you ascended to the heaven realm, Chun Feng and I lived a free life. Until one day we met a great Buddha. He talked about Buddhism and Taoism with us. Our days were very fulfilling. We talked about Taoism every day for 3 years. Yuan Tiangang said softly. And then? Guo Pai asked softly. Then he asked Chun Feng and me to continue writing the ***. At that time, we didn't think much about it. We thought that as long as we didn't tell anyone about the ***, it would be fine for us to write it. Until the heavenly court sent someone to find us again. Yuan Tiangang said softly, as if he was thinking of the past again. Yuan Tiangang, Li Chunfeng, are you two really as good as the rumors say? Can you foresee everything? An old man came to Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng's residence. He looked at the two people who were writing the ***, and said with a smile. How do I address you? How do you know us? Yuan Tiangang stopped writing and asked softly. You can calculate everything in the world. Don't you know who I am? The old man continued, I want to make a bet with you. If you can calculate what I am going to do next, you can continue your current ***. If you can't, you can stop. That day Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng were also competitive. Although they knew that the other party didn't come with good intentions, they weren't afraid of him. The old man squinted his eyes and stood on the stairs. He looked at Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng and asked loudly, Can you calculate? Can you calculate whether I am going upstairs or downstairs? Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng looked at the old man and shook their heads gently. The old man didn't come with good intentions. It seemed that he was really here to cause trouble. You don't even dare to calculate such a simple thing. If you can't calculate it clearly, you still dare to reveal the secrets of heaven here. Don't you think it's ridiculous? The old man looked at the two and said loudly, Are you not convinced? Then I will give you another chance. As he spoke, the old man walked to the front of a big tree and asked the two, I want to leave. Do you think I should go from the left or the right of the tree? Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng looked at each other and nodded. One of them pointed to the left and the other pointed to the right. Then, they looked at the old man. Open up! The old man said loudly. The big tree split from the middle. The old man walked through the middle. After he walked through the middle, the big tree closed up again. I will go back through the middle. You can't even calculate such a thing clearly. Do you still dare to continue the asterisk? Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng only realized at this time that even if the two of them didn't leak the asterisk, they had already leaked the secrets of heaven. This old man was sent by the heavenly court. You have lost. Take care of yourselves. After the old man finished speaking, just as he was about to leave, the monk appeared in front of the three of them. Brother Yuan and Brother Li can't calculate it. Can you? Didn't you calculate that there will be a disaster in the human world this time? The monk looked at the old man and asked. The old man looked at the monk in front of him. Just as he was about to say something, he saw a monk's staff hit his head hard. Chapter 6:28. No! The old man looked at the staff hitting his head fiercely. Unable to retreat, he roared and his primordial spirit escaped from his body. Yuan Tiangang, Li Chunfeng, it's already a big crime for you to continue writing the Book of Enlightenment. The Jade Emperor thought that it wasn't easy for you to cultivate, so he asked me to persuade you to stop. It's fine if you don't listen, but now you're colluding with the devil race to disturb the heaven's secret. This is unforgivable. Just you wait. The old man's primordial spirit shouted at them. Devil race? Old mister, isn't that a bit too much? Li Chunfeng was stunned and asked the old man's primordial spirit loudly. Two ignorant guys, don't you know that the monk beside you? Before the old man's primordial spirit could finish his words, the monk's staff hit the old man's primordial spirit again. This time, his primordial spirit was destroyed and the old man couldn't be more dead. Undying holy monk, why did you kill him? Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng asked the monk when they saw the old man's primordial spirit being destroyed. Can't you hear that the heavenly court wants to convict you? He also wants to sow discord between you and me. Of course I have to kill him. Undying shook his head and said, Originally, I just wanted to let you two deduce the past and present. I didn't expect to bring you so much trouble. I'm leaving. From that day onwards, Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng never saw Undying again. It wasn't until a long time later, when the Book of Enlightenment appeared in the human world, that Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng realized that the Book of Enlightenment they sealed that day was gone. Because of the Book of Enlightenment in the human world, the heavenly court naturally found Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng. Li Chunfeng's primordial spirit was destroyed by the heavenly thunder. Yuan Tiangang relied on a magic treasure to leave behind a trace of his primordial spirit and escaped the disaster. Yuan Tiangang told his story to Guopai in detail. Guopai also told Yuan Tiangang about his own story. Of course, he didn't tell Yuan Tiangang that he was banished to the lower realm for peeping on a fairy taking a bath. However, Yuan Tiangang was obviously in a good mood since he could meet Chen Qingyuan in the human world. Old Yuan, take this elixir first. Your current body can't satisfy your primordial spirit. After a few days, I will find a way to get you a body. Guopai Yuan Tiangang. He couldn't help but tremble. If Guopai could find a suitable body under the rules of the human world, he wouldn't be afraid of the heavenly court people to find trouble with him. Could it be that you and Brother Chun Feng didn't find out who stole the nun in the end? Guopao asked softly. Have you ever suspected that holy monk Undying? To the holy, it can't be him. If he wants to get ****, he can ask us directly. We will definitely give it to him. Yuan Tiangang shook his head and said, "But what if Bumie thinks that the words of that old man from the celestial court made you suspect him, and he is indeed a member of the demon race, and was afraid that you wouldn't give him the jade pendant, so he stole it himself? Is there such a possibility?" Guo Pai continued to ask. Chun Feng said the same thing at the beginning, but with immortal strength, there was no need to steal the vermilion bird. His ability to deduce the future is not inferior to Chun Feng and me, Yuan Tiangang said softly. Doubt arose in his heart again. Guo Pai shook his head. Many people didn't understand why the heavenly court sent people to look for Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng. The two of them couldn't even reach the bottom line of immortals. What impact could they have on the human world and the heavenly court? Guo Pai found a clue from the tomes of Arcane as to why the heavenly court valued Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng so much. Although Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng couldn't even reach the bottom line of immortals, the two of them had a relationship with a name often mentioned in the tomes of Arcane. Tianjizi, the immortals called him Tianji Laozi. Everything in the world had Tianji. The immortals in heaven more or less knew some methods of calculation, but there were very few real calculation masters in the three realms. Tianji Laozi would choose his own successor in the three realms. Yuan Tiangang and Li Chunfeng were the inheritors of Tianji Laozi. Their jade pendant would have an impact on the way of heaven at that time. No wonder the heavenly court valued the two of them so much. When it comes to deduction, no one can compare with you and Chun Feng. If I'm not wrong, the vermilion bird was stolen by Bumie, Guo Pai said softly. What's the purpose of Bumie stealing the vermilion bird? Yuan Tiangang asked, puzzled. He also wanted to find an answer to his thousand-year doubts. What's the purpose? Old Yuan, if Bumie is a holy monk of the Buddhism sect, then it's fine. But if Bumie is really a demon like the old man in the heavenly court said, what's the use of him stealing the vermilion bird? Guo Pai asked back. In the past, Chun Feng and I calculated that if the demon got the vermilion bird, then there would be a great calamity in the human world, Yuan Tiangang said softly. But the calamity we calculated in the past would come very quickly. But 1,000 years have passed. There can't be any calamity in the human world. A day in heaven is a year in the human world. Time passes quickly. Maybe it's not calculated according to the time in the human world, Guo Pai said softly. Yuan Tiangang opened his eyes wide. If everything is as Brother Qingyuan said, that Bumie is a demon, then he will steal the vermilion bird, and then he will disturb the mysteries of heaven. Then the great demon will run rampant in the human world, and the people will be plunged into misery and suffering. All these sins will be caused by Chun Feng and me. We are the sinners of the human world, Yuan Tiangang murmured. Old Yuan, you think too much. Didn't you calculate that if you and I can meet again, it is possible to avoid this calamity? Guo Pai said softly. Yuan Tiangang's eyes fell on Guo Pai. Qingyuan, what are you going to Donghai for this time? Yuan Tiangang asked softly. The demon race. Now something big is going to happen in the human world. I have been in the mortal world for less than 7 years, and I have fought with the people of the demon race many times, Guo Pai said softly. After Guo Pai finished speaking, Yuan Tiangang sat cross-legged and closed his eyes. Guo Pai did not disturb him. After about 10 minutes, Yuan Tiangang opened his eyes and looked at Guo Pai. His eyes seemed to emit golden light, which made Guo Pai a little embarrassed. Guo Pai, you are Guo Pai. Haha, everything has a cause and effect. You are not Chen Qingyuan, you are Guo Pai. Yuan Tiangang said with a laugh. Originally, when he woke up from meditation, Yuan Tiangang's breath suddenly weakened, but now Yuan Tiangang was very excited. Old Yuan, what does all this have to do with me? Guo Pai was stunned and asked softly. Tianji, F*** CK Tianji. If there was no sex between me and Chun Feng, the demon race would have been finished long ago, and it would not be to this point now, Yuan Tiangang said with a smile. Variable Guo Pai, You are the only variable in the human world. Guopai was stunned, completely stunned. For the things that happened in recent years, Guopai only guessed that someone was playing a big game of chess, but he did not expect that he was so important. Guopai, whatever you do now, just do as you want. You don't have to worry about my physical body. Let my good disciple out. See the guest out. Chapter 629. Guopai let Ding Luoyu out. Ding Luoyu looked at Guopai blankly. Although he could see Guopai talking to his master for the past 4 hours, he did not know what had happened. All he knew was that he heard his master say the 2 words, "See the guests out." "Bad guy, let's go out first." Although Ding Luoyu did not know what his master had talked about with Guopai, it was better to take Guopai out first. Guopai did not object, and the 2 of them walked out of the mysterious house. "Brother Luoyu, we should have found all the people who came into contact with the insect corpses. Let's go take a look at them first," Guopai said with a smile. Ding Luoyu was even more confused. He had taken Guopai out, but Guopai was not angry. What did he talk about with his master? Since Guopai did not say anything, Ding Luoyu did not ask too much. The 2 of them walked towards the open space in front of the auction house. When the 2 of them arrived, Guopai was shocked. There were more than 100 people in the Ding family auction house who had come into contact with the eternal demon insect corpses. It seemed that things were worse than he had imagined. "Young master, everyone who came into contact with the insect corpses is here." An old man ran in front of Ding Luoyu and said softly, "Young master, I don't know why you called us here. The insect corpses you gave us that day have been used up. They are definitely good stuff. Do you still have them? Give us some more time, and we will be able to refine at least heaven-grade pills." In the crowd, an old man said loudly to Ding Luoyu, "Everyone, please calm down. Let me introduce someone to you." Ding Luoyu pointed at Guopai and said, "Tiandao sect master, Guopai. The pills and prescriptions I gave you last time were all given by sect master Guopai. Today, he has something to tell you," Ding Luoyu said loudly. His expression was not relaxed because Guopai had told him earlier that it would be fine if they could deal with the corpse poison, but if they couldn't, then they would all die. "Sect leader Guopai, do you have any other prescriptions? We can buy them with spirit stones," a pharmacist said loudly to Guopai. "Everyone, let me finish first. I have some bad news for you. I hope you don't panic." Guopai took a deep breath and spoke softly to the crowd. Hearing Guopai's bad news and looking at Ding Luoyu's expression, the atmosphere suddenly became tense and the whole square quieted down. Some time ago, the auction house accidentally received a worm corpse. It's highly toxic, slow-acting. Guopai held an ancient demon worm in his hand and said softly to the crowd, "I don't know what you are doing with these worm corpses. Now, I need to check them one by one. If I can expel the poison, I will do my best to save you. If I can't expel the poison, to prevent infection, I will be the bad guy." As Guopai's voice fell, the whole square became even quieter. However, it was only for a short period of time before the crowd started to panic. "No, you can't do this, young master. This is Guopai's scheme. These worm corpses are not gambling. Look at us, aren't we fine for so long? You can't listen to Guopai." A middle-aged man shouted at Ding Luoyu. "This thing appeared in the mainland a few months ago. The incubation period of the poison is very long. You are fine now, but that doesn't mean you won't be in trouble in the future. Now, I will check you one by one. If there is a glimmer of hope, I will do my best to save you," Guopai said loudly. However, the crowd became even more chaotic than before. "Let me go, I didn't touch that thing. Let me go, I don't King need to be checked by this Guopai. What right does he have to decide our life and death with just one sentence? He didn't do anything to our Ding family. Young master, say something." Someone in the crowd shouted again. At this time, several elders of the Ding family frowned. They didn't expect Ding Luoyu to gather these people for such a thing. Young master, I have something to say to you. An elder of the auction house called Ding Luoyu aside and said softly. Ding Luoyu nodded and was pulled aside by the elder. Can this Guo Pai be trusted? If those bug corpses are really good things and he wants to keep them for himself, we will lose both our wives and soldiers. The elder whispered to Ding Luoyu. Bad guy also has bug corpses. You should know his strength. He doesn't need to lie to me because of these things. With his personality, he won't rashly kill people because of these things. Ding Luoyu said softly. We only made a deal with him once. That was more than a year ago. The elder whispered, just give him the bug corpses. These people of the Ding family can't die. If they die, I'm afraid it will be difficult to explain to the patriarch. Ding Luoyu nodded after hearing the elder's words. He quickly walked to Guo Pai's side. Bad guy, can the infected people not die? Ding Luoyu whispered, these pharmacists are the top pharmacists of the Ding family. If something happens to them, it will be difficult for me to explain it to the patriarch. Guo Pai could not help but shake his head after hearing Ding Luoyu's words. The current sect was different from when he was in the past. When the plague broke out in the world, several large sects killed all the infected people overnight. It was not because the patriarch was ruthless. The dead people were killed so that others could live better. Prepare an isolation area. If I can cure them, I will do my best to treat them. If I can't cure them, you can send them to the isolation area first. However, you must remember one thing. Don't let them escape. If the poison really breaks out, not only the Ding family, but the entire East Sea will be in big trouble. Guo Pai whispered. If they could not die, Ding Luoyu hurriedly nodded. Then, he arranged for people to set up a courtyard in the westernmost part of the auction house. All the people that Guo Pai could not cure were sent to the courtyard. If they could not die, the people of the Ding family would not say anything. Guo Pai diagnosed the people in the auction house. He spent an entire afternoon. Of the 93 people who had come into contact with the corpses of the worms, 51 of them had already entered their heart meridians and could not force the corpse poison out. For the remaining 42 people, Guo Pai gave them elixirs to temporarily prevent the corpse poison from entering their bodies. Luoyu, leave these medicinal herbs in the East Sea. After you find someone to refine them, find a cold place and put them away. Besides the people in the auction house, distribute the rest to the people who came to the auction house recently. If anything happens, send someone to find me in the imperial capital. Guo Pai whispered. Ding Luoyu nodded. Looks like I have to find time to set up a teleportation array in the East Sea. If something really happens, I can rush there immediately. Before Guo Pai left, he set up a teleportation array not far from the East Sea auction house. After fiddling with the array, Guo Pai took Guo Hua, Qi Yun, and Li Feng and flew towards Shu Mountain. Chapter 630. That night, Guo Pai and the other two rushed to the Wuji Peak. A bad premonition appeared in Guo Pai's mind. Guo Hua also frowned. Come, let's go to the Divine Martial Palace to take a look. Guo Hua, remember my words. No matter what happens, don't be impulsive. Guo Pai said softly. Guo Pai nodded. The array outside Shushan Mountain was opened by Guo Pai once again. The four of them quickly flew into Shushan Mountain. Bad master, something is wrong. Why is there such a strong smell of blood in Shushan Mountain? Guo Hua frowned and asked. Qi Yun and Li Feng also clenched their fists. There was something wrong with the martial palace. Brother Qi, Brother Li, let's split up and see if there are any survivors in Shushan Mountain. Guo Pai's words made Guo Hua's eyes widen. According to Guo Pai, Shushan Mountain had been annihilated. How could this be? Let's go to the medicine tower, Guo Pai said and flew towards the medicine tower with Guo Hua. The array outside the medicine tower was broken. Guo Pai's face turned even uglier. Guo Pai and Guo Hua entered the medicine tower and flew all the way to the top of the medicine tower. They didn't find any traces of the two fire mythological beasts and the big fire. Guopai's heart was in a mess. If something happened to the medicine tower, then Shushan Mountain was really finished. Guopai didn't say much and brought Guohua back to the Divine Martial Palace to see if Guopai and Li Feng had found anything. Just as the two of them returned to the Divine Martial Palace, Qi Yun and Li Feng also flew towards Guopai from afar. No people, no corpses. Qi Yun shook his head and said, "Such a big sect, not a single living thing is left. Something big must have happened." "Yeah, even if a sect was annihilated, I haven't seen such a clean scene. We only left for a little more than a day. Who could have such strength?" Li Feng shook his head and said, "I will go to the returning rest platform to take a look. I wonder if the returning rest platform has been destroyed by someone." Guopai finished speaking and flew towards the returning rest platform. This time, the few people did not follow. Guopai placed a few jade cores in the 8 rooms of the returning rest platform. After his spiritual sense entered the returning rest platform, a virtual image appeared in front of Guopai. Guopai wanted to see what had happened to Shu Mountain, but the returning rest platform had also been tampered with. There were only 16 big words on the virtual image: exterminate Shu Mountain first, then exterminate Mao Mountain, Kunlun and Wudong. Leave no one alive. The blood-red words seemed to know that Guopai wanted to use the rest returning platform to check on the situation of Shushan. They were blatantly provoking Guopai. "Little Bad, what's going on?" Qi Yun and the other two looked at Guopai with an ugly expression. They could not help but fly up to the resting platform and look at the virtual image. "Someone wants to deal with Wu Xiu of the human world. The human world is going to be in chaos," Guopai said softly. "The 5 demons have gathered and the world is in chaos. What was recorded in the heavenly book back then is going to happen. What should we do? Let's go to Mao Mountain now. Maybe we can find out who is causing trouble?" Guohua said coldly. Shu Mountain had been exterminated and his parents and brothers were nowhere to be found. Guohua's only thought now was to find out who had done these things. "Let's go back to the imperial capital. If someone can really exterminate Shu Mountain in a day, we are no match for this group of people. Let's go back first and think of a way." Guopai finished speaking and Guohua did not object. The 4 of them left Shu Mountain and flew in the direction of the imperial capital. It seems that Father was right to be able to remain so calm in the face of such a disaster. If the demon race's plan fails this time, the biggest variable will be this mind-reading perfected Lord. In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, 4 men and a woman sat around a round table. They were looking at a crystal ball. The crystal ball showed the situation of Guopai and the rest in Shu Mountain. "It's a pity that our real bodies can't break out of the array. Otherwise, even if all the immortals of the heavenly court descended to the human world, we can take care of them all, let alone a mind-reading perfected Lord," one of Poison Demon's doppelgangers said loudly. "Third brother, whether or not we can get out of here is all up to you. If the ancient demon bug can awaken, these formations that are sealing us up here are nothing but dog-t. I wonder when the ancient demon bug will be able to wake up?" Shwemai chuckled out. "When you mention the ancient demonic bugs, I get angry. Back then, I said that we should crush these bugs' corpses into powder and use the air to spread them across the human world. In less than 10,000 years, the ancient demonic bugs will definitely wake up. By then, we can break the array that seals us and get out. Now that the human world and the heavens have long been the territory of the demon race, we don't have to go through so much trouble," Poison Demon said loudly. "Third brother, according to what you said, you are prepared to revive the ancient demonic bugs at the cost of everything in the world. This is the evil in your heart. If you can't get rid of the evil in your heart, you will forever be stuck at the Sage Realm." Just as Poison Demon finished speaking, another person appeared in the room. It was an old man. The 5 of them stopped talking. "Father, why are you here?" Dream Demon looked at the old man and asked softly, "Let's see if you continue to do anything out of line. I've said it before, everything in the human world has to be done according to the rules of the human world. You can't break the rules of the human world. Otherwise, the rise of the demon race will be ruined. Our billions of demon soldiers will end up as the merits of the human race and the god race." The old man's voice wasn't loud, but it reached the ears of the demons. "Father is right. We won't do anything rash." The great demons nodded and said, "We have already endured for hundreds of thousands of years. We don't lack time. The day of the final battle is getting closer. Don't expose our strength so easily. When the time comes, I will help you break the seal. Today, I called you all here to give you a reminder. If the demon race cannot rise again, you will all die." After saying that, the old man disappeared from the room. "Big brother, I feel like father is being too cautious this time. I don't know how many demon soldiers you have, but I already have millions of demon soldiers. As long as I can get out, I can use all of them. I don't believe there are that many Wu Xiao in the human world that can stop the rise of the demon race," Lustful Demon said loudly. "Millions of demon soldiers? Do you know how many demon soldiers Fifth Sister has? 30 million? Do you think she is as arrogant as you? You must remember what father said. Otherwise, if something really happens, don't blame me for not caring about our brotherhood," Dream Demon said loudly to the four of them. "Big brother, if I didn't help you this time, your clone wouldn't have been able to come out. It's fine if father taught us a lesson, but with your current strength, don't say that I look down on you. You don't have the ability to do that." Lustful Demon did not buy Dream Demon's words. "Fourth brother, look at me." Dream Demon did not get angry. Instead, he smiled and said to Lustful Demon, "Big brother, let go of fourth brother. If you two want to fight, wait until your real body comes out." Although they were both clones, Lustful Demon fell into Dream Demon's dreamland the moment he looked at Dream Demon. If Medicine Demon did not stop him, Lustful Demon's clone would have died in Dream Demon's dreamland. "You are really my good big brother. You almost killed me." The Lustful Demon squinted his eyes and said, "But I hope that when our true bodies break through the formation, you'll still have such strength. Second brother, third brother, Shu Mountain is already settled. Big brother doesn't dare to play with you anymore. If you guys don't dare, then hurry up and leave. I'll play with this little immortal." With that, the Lustful Demon disappeared. Chapter 631. Guopai and the others left Mount Shu and flew towards the imperial capital at full speed. This time, the commotion they caused was even more intense. Many rogue cultivators once again exclaimed at the aura of Guopai and the others. "Bad guy, did anything happen this time?" Yu could not help but ask when she saw that Guopai's expression was very ugly when they returned. "I've divined a few times recently, but the heavenly secrets were deceived and I didn't find anything. Let's talk inside. Go and call all the old masters over. There's something important to discuss," Guopai said softly. Yu walked towards the Gu family. Not long after, the room was filled with people. "Everyone, take a look at this thing first." Guopai saw that almost everyone had arrived. He took out the virtual image obtained from the resting platform and placed it in front of everyone. First Mount Shu, then Mount Mao, Kunlun, and Wudong. None of them will be left alive. Little bad, could it be that Mount Shu has been wiped out? Li Shixin could not help but ask when he saw the 16 words on the virtual image. "I'm not sure if it has been wiped out or not. Anyway, there's no living thing in Mount Shu now. Not a single corpse has been found," Guopai said softly. "Then what are we waiting for now? Let's go to Mount Mao or go directly to Kunlun. We'll know who did this to Mount Shu," Qiu Daoyuan said loudly. As soon as Qiu Daoyuan's words fell, the group of people looked at Guopai in unison. "We originally wanted to go directly to Mount Mao, but later we dispelled this idea. They can turn Mount Shu into this state in one day. How strong must they be? I don't dare to take the risk to go to Mount Mao. I'm afraid that this is a conspiracy of the devil race, Guo Pai said softly. Little bad, let's go together. In the face of absolute strength, I don't believe that the devil race can play any trick. It's been more than 100,000 years, but it's still the same. Just hearing about the devil race makes my hands itch, Qiu Daoyuan said loudly. Uncle Qiu, Uncle Ao, Uncle Shui, Junior Brother Tong Yuan, Third Prince, the 5 of you follow me to Mount Mao. If something happens to Mount Mao, we'll go to Kunlun and see if we can find out who did it. The rest of you stay in Bugyaku. We've fought the devil race so many times in recent years. Bugyaku. Guo Pai said softly. Master Bad, take me with you. After Guoshua finished speaking, the group of old men nodded. The 5 people that Guoshua had called out could be considered the strongest lineup of Bu Medical Hall. Given the strength of the others, defending Bu Medical Hall should not be a problem. However, Guohua suddenly stepped forward and spoke softly. All right, there's no time to lose. We'll set off now, Guo Pai said softly. I'll leave the matters of the family to you. After saying that, the 7 of them brought out their magic treasures. At any rate, there was a magic array protecting Bugyaku's backyard, and no one could see what was going on inside. The group then flew towards Mount Mao. Just what is going on? Just how many experts does Huaxia have? The auras of Guo Pai and the others once again aroused the discussion of Wu Xiu all over the world. Even the 4 great demon avatars at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean could sense traces of powerful auras. 4th Bro is in trouble. That self-righteous fellow. It's good for him to lose this avatar. That way, he won't know how strong he is in the future, Dream Demon said loudly. Guo Pai and the others pushed their speed to the limit when they arrived at Mount Mao. However, when they arrived at Mount Mao, the scene before them shocked Guo Pai. The great protective array of Mount Mao was no longer able to provide any protection. Mount Mao, which was originally filled with spiritual energy, no longer had any trace of life. However, unlike Mount Shu, Mount Mao was littered with corpses. Seeing that caused the faces of Guo Pai and the others to turn grim. Boss, they have been dead for 3 days. We've been deceived. They went to Mount Mao first before going to Mount Shu. A bunch of bastards. Guo Tongyuan said loudly. Let's go. We'll split up. Lord Water, take Junior Brother and the 3rd Prince to Kunlun. The others, follow me to Wudong, Guo Pai said, gritting his teeth. The group then left Mount Mao, which was littered with corpses. As soon as they left, some rogue cultivators who were not far from Mount Mao climbed up Mount Mao. Then, the entire cultivation world of Huaxia fell into chaos. Mount Mao was massacred. The aura of the powerhouse came from Bugyaku. Mount Shu was massacred. The last person who left Mount Shu disappeared in Bugyaku. The powerhouse from Bugyaku left Mount Mao and headed to Kunlun and Wudong. Guo Pai and the others naturally did not know about the rumors outside. However, many Wu Xiu cultivators had already found Bugyaku. Little girl, we need an explanation. Or we need Dojo Master Guo Pai to come out. We know that he is not only the Dojo Master of Bugyaku, but also the Sect Master of Tiandao Sect. We know that your Tiandao Sect is indeed powerful. However, you destroyed Mount Shu and then Mount Mao. You should give us an explanation. A few rogue cultivators were arguing with you in the backyard of Bugyaku. We know that something happened to Mount Shu. Brother Bad Guy did bring people from Tiandao Sect to Mount Mao. However, they didn't go there to kill people. They went there to save people. I don't know what you mean. You said softly to everyone. Tiandao Sect didn't hide their aura at all. They went back and forth between the imperial capital and Mount Shu and Mount Mao. What else do you want us to say? Now, we can't find a single person in Mount Shu. Mount Mao is covered in corpses. You said that you went there to save people. Is this how you save people? Ask Guo Pai to come out. We want to confront him face to face. Another Wu Xiu shouted loudly. Facing the questioning of a group of Wu Xiu, although these Wu Xiu were not strong, Yu couldn't do anything to them. They had been clamoring to see Guo Pai and ask him for an explanation. However, Guo Pai was not in the medical center. The medical center was really in chaos. Not only were there a few Wu Xiu in front of her in the enlightened stage, but Wu Xiu from all over Huaxia also arrived at Bugyaku one after another. Brother Bad Guy and the others were fooled. This time, they are in trouble. After comforting the group of Wu Xiu again, Yu couldn't help but whisper softly. Although these old people were strong, they couldn't do anything to a group of Wu Xiu. It was not easy to get some good karma in the human world. They didn't want to use their good karma because of a group of Wu Xiu's ignorance. Guo Pai brought Qiu Daoyuan, Ao Feng, and Guo Hua to Mount Wu Dang. Mount Wu Dang's defensive formation was not broken, which made Guo Pai feel relieved. They directly broke the formation and entered Mount Wu Dang. Although Mount Wu Dang's sect leader and Guo Pai had never met, he knew Guo Pai. He happily led Guo Pai and the others to the reception room. What? Sect leader Guo said that Mount Shu and Mount Mao were destroyed? How is that possible? Mount Shu and Mount Mao are two of the top sects in Huaxia. Who has such ability? Mount Wu Dang's sect leader Zhang Tianyang shook his head and said, "A few days ago, I did feel the aura of an expert coming from the imperial capital to Mount Shu. However, it seems that no one in the imperial capital can destroy Mount Shu. A few days ago, the sect leaders of Mount Shu and Sword Chi sects came to Bugyaku to look for me. Later, I followed them to Mount Shu. Mount Shu was poisoned by the people of the East Sea's Exquisite Refinement sect. So, I went to look for the East Sea's Exquisite Refinement sect. However, when everything was settled and I returned to Mount Shu, I found that Mount Shu had been destroyed." Guo Pai said softly. "Sect leader Guo, before you came to Mount Mao, you should have gone to Mount Mao, right? Why don't you explain to me what happened at Mount Mao?" Zhang Tianyang asked with narrowed eyes. Chapter 632. Looking at Zhang Tianyang's expression, Guo Pai had already guessed what Zhang Tianyang was thinking. He had fallen into a trap. Since Wudong sect is fine, let's go to Kunlun. Guo Pai did not want to explain too much. He stood up and prepared to leave. At this time, Zhang Tianyang also stood up. "Sect Master Guo, you have to explain this matter clearly. Why did you come to my Wudong sect this time? Also, what is your Heavenly Tao sect trying to do about the matter between Mount Shu and Mount Mao?" Zhang Tianyang said loudly, 3 golden core experts and 1 core formation expert. Such a lineup is truly powerful. However, if you want to cause trouble in my Wudong sect, such strength might not be enough. Wudong sect disciples, listen up. Set up the formation. As Zhang Tianyang's voice fell, Guo Pai and the others were surrounded at the top of Wudong Mountain. Hundreds of Wudong sect disciples stared at Guo Pai and the others. "This young master came to your Wudong sect with good intentions. It's fine if you don't appreciate it, but you actually dare to attack me. Zhang Tianyang, if not for Wudong sect's founder, Daoist Sanfeng, I would have killed you directly." Guo Pai said somewhat angrily. Just because Wudong sect was fine did not mean that Kunlun was fine. However, they were now surrounded by a group of Wudong sect disciples. Breaking the formation was easy, but it was difficult to not injure them. "I think you came this time to scout out our Wudong sect before gathering people to attack us. You have the ambition of a wolf. First, use Bugyaku to create momentum in Huaxia. Then, one by one, you will annex the Wu Xiu sect in Huaxia." "Brat, your wishful thinking is a little too early," Zhang Tianyang said loudly to Guo Pai. Guo Pai looked at the group of Wudong sect disciples and said softly to Guo Pai, "Bad master, don't waste time with them. Wudong sect is fine. Let's hurry to Kunlun before something unexpected happens. Guopai nodded. Just as he was about to attack the surrounding Wudong sect disciples, the formation outside Wudong Mountain was broken again. Guopai's heart tightened at first, but then he saw Shui Yunzi bringing Guotongyuan and the third crown prince to Wudong sect. Boss, Kunlun has been wiped out. Guotongyuan shouted loudly. Then, he realized that something was wrong. Why did a group of Wudong disciples surround his senior brother and the others? However, Guotongyuan did not expect that his words of Kunlun being exterminated would bring about an even worse chain reaction. Guopai, you're so ruthless. You actually sent people to Kunlun. What a great heavenly Dao sect. I know that our Wuxiu can't beat you, but even if we die, we'll drag your heavenly Dao sect's people down with us. We'll let the world's Wuxiu see the ugly face of your heavenly Dao sect. As Zhang Tianyang spoke, a huge elephant tusk appeared in his hand. Guopai looked at the 9-tone elephant flute in Zhang Tianyang's hand and could not help but say, 9-tone elephant flute. This is the treasure that Zhang Sanfeng obtained in a desperate situation. He actually did not bring it to the heavenly court. I am Zhang Tianyang of Wudong. The extermination of Shushan, Maoshan, Kunlun, and Wudong was caused by heavenly Dao sect's Guopai. This person has wild ambitions. If we don't kill him, the world will fall into chaos, Zhang Tianyang said loudly to the 9-tone elephant flute. Guopai's face became completely gloomy. The 9-tone elephant flute was a magic weapon of little value, but it had an extremely powerful function. According to the records of the angels, before Zhang Sanfeng obtained the 9-tone elephant flute, this flute made of ivory only appeared once at the beginning of the War of Devils. At that time, the great devil planned to besiege the human world, and very few people knew about it. However, the opportunity of the devil race was obtained by the previous owner of the 9-tone elephant flute. At that time, that person used the 9-tone elephant flute to tell the world's Wuxiu about the demon-slaying war. One of the functions of this elephant flute was to transmit sound. Although Zhang Tianyang's voice was not loud, but through the 9-tone elephant flute, the entire Huaxia, and even the entire human world's Xiantian realm Wuxiu, could hear Zhang Tianyang's words. Let's go. Wudong, take care of yourselves. Guopai couldn't help but shake his head. Then, with a wave of his hand, the martial arts disciples surrounding them fell to the ground. Guopai led Ao Feng and the others out of the encirclement and joined Shui Yunzi's group. Guopai, you can't escape. If you can't explain the matter of Shu Mountain, Mao Mountain, and Kunlun clearly, the world's Wuxiu won't let you go, Zhang Tianyang said loudly. Taoist Master Sanfeng was called a living immortal in the past. Although he sometimes went crazy 3 times a day, he wouldn't distort the truth and disturb people's hearts without any evidence. No wonder Wudong didn't make any achievements after Taoist Master Sanfeng ascended to the heavenly realm. Fortunately, Wudong occupied Wudong Mountain, which was full of spiritual energy. This is the tragedy of the world's Wuxiu in Huaxia. After Guopai finished speaking, he left Wudong with a group of people without looking back. However, at this time, the imperial capital of Bugyaku was in chaos. Originally, after Guopai and the others left, more than 100 Wuxiu came to Bugyaku one after another. After Zhang Tianyang said those words, Yurur could no longer calm the group of Wuxiu in Bugyaku, who were already somewhat agitated. Little girl, what else do you have to say? No wonder Guopai is not in Bugyaku. It turns out that he went to Kunlun and Wudong. What a good method. An old man looked at Yurur and said loudly, Are we going to die when Guopai comes back? Stupid, you are really stupid. Since you don't believe in Bugyaku and Tiandao sect, you are worried that Guopai will come back and kill all of you. Hurry up and get out of here. Yurur said loudly. She had never been so angry in the human world. Guopai was busy with the matter of the great demon, but the great demon didn't find trouble with them. On the contrary, these wuxiu in the human world came to Bugyaku to find trouble. Senior Li Yuantai, the ugly face of Tiandao sect has been exposed. They must be a cult in the human world. Let's catch these people first. Otherwise, when Guopai comes back, I'm afraid we will really be in trouble. A middle-aged man who was already at the peak of the enlightening period said loudly to the old man just now, and the others nodded. Do it. Don't kill them. Tie up all the people in Bugyaku. When the time comes, we can save our lives by using these people as hostages. Li Yuantai shouted. The backyard of Bugyaku, which was already chaotic enough, was quarreling like a vegetable market. Wu Xiu had taken out his weapon and was ready to kill in the front yard of Bugyaku at any time to kidnap people. Little mother, what are these people doing? They are so noisy. Little Meng Meng came out of the house and saw a group of people in different clothes making a scene. She couldn't help but ask, Ling Imo, take Meng Meng into the house. Yuer shook her head and said. A group of Wu Xiu was uneven. The strongest was a master in the early stage of Gold Core, and the weakest was a person who had just entered the inborn realm. With little Meng Meng's strength, Yuer was not worried, but she was worried that the little girl would be angry and kill people by accident. It would be troublesome. Tie up the little girl. She is Guopai's daughter. With her as a hostage, Guopai will not dare to do anything to us. Someone in the crowd shouted, and everyone's eyes fell on little Meng Meng. Chapter 633. When Yuer heard someone shouting that they wanted to tie up Xiao Meng Meng, her face suddenly became gloomy. This old lady was talking nicely to you all, but you all actually want to tie up Xiao Meng Meng. What made Yuer completely explode was that there were actually a few experts in the fasting period who walked towards Xiao Meng Meng. Kong Fei, Daju, Fataba, Ermao, Ao Yuan, Aoji, Aoyu, tie up all these people for me. I'm so angry, they actually want to do something to Xiao Meng Meng. Yuer shouted towards the courtyard outside. Several people who were practicing in the courtyard next to the reception room heard Yuer's voice and flew into the reception room. Big sister, what's the situation? Daju looked at Yuer's gloomy face and asked softly. What else can there be? These guys are going to tie up Xiao Meng Meng to threaten you, bad guy. You guys do as you see fit. I'm so angry. I'm going out to get some fresh air. If you all can't handle these people, then you all can tie up Xiao Meng Meng and send her to them, so that they don't have to do anything. After Yuer finished speaking, she led Xiao Meng Meng out of the reception room. The people in the room looked at the 6 people, and one monkey who suddenly broke into the room. At this time, Kong Fei, Daju, and the others' expressions were not much better than Yuer. Tying up Xiao Meng Meng, these people were really tired of living. The little girl was not only Guopai's reverse scale, because she followed these people all day long, the little girl's mouth was also sweet. She called them brothers, sisters, uncles, and aunties every day. They were originally a group of people who were saved by Guopai, so they had long regarded the little girl as their closest person. Today, this group of people in front of them actually wanted to tie up the little girl. How could they accept this? With just the 6 of you and one monkey, do you think you can deal with the people in this room? If you know what's good for you, quickly get out of here and call Guopai over. Otherwise, we will definitely make Bugyaku restless. When the people in the room saw Yuer leave, they thought that she had called some people who were 8 feet tall and had 8 feet waist. After a long time, it was just a few young men and a monkey. Suddenly, the people in the room relaxed again. Ermao, let me tell you, the 2 old men here are the strongest. They are already at the late stage of the Golden Core realm. Boss said before, when dealing with a group, the power of a role model is great. You go and tie them up. Then the others will be easy. Futaba shrunk his body to the size of an ordinary monkey and sat on Ermao's shoulder and said softly, Are you talking about the 2 old men inside? Futaba's voice was not loud. Only a few people in front of him heard it. However, Ermao's voice became louder. He pointed his finger at the two old men in the innermost room. Originally, the two old men only came to Bugyaku to see what was going on. They did not want to have a conflict with Tiandao sect and Bugyaku. After all, when they cultivated to their level, unless they saw it with their own eyes, they would never believe it. At this time, they actually saw a young man pointing at them with his finger. Futaba followed the direction of Ermao's finger, and also pointed at the two old men. Then he nodded. The two old men were even angrier. Even if they did not have a temper, Wu Xiu had been pointed at by others for so many years. What was even more infuriating was that there was a monkey pointing at him like this. "Hey, two old men, I'm talking about you." The two old men with red faces come out. "Let me tie you up so that I can report to my superiors." Ermao's words were like adding oil to the fire. The two old men rushed out of the crowd and looked at Ermao angrily. Just when Ermao and Futaba were pointing at the two old men, many people had already recognized who the two old men were. They were Elder Feng and Elder Feng of Mount Qilian. Hua Xia and Wu Xiu had not seen them before, but they had more or less heard of their names. Today, they were provoked by a young man from Bugyaku. "What? Do you want to fight if we don't cooperate?" Ermao asked loudly. "If you want to fight, then go to the yard. Don't break the things in the room, or Sister Yu will definitely be angry." Ermao took the lead and walked out. "Today, I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of your elders. You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth." Then, Qi Zhanyun attacked. The master of the late stage of Gold Core disappeared from the crowd, and appeared in front of Ermao in a flash. "Teach me a lesson on behalf of my elders? You don't have the qualifications. As for the height of the heavens and the depth of the earth, I might not know, but my ancestor must have known very well." Ermao didn't hesitate and punched the old man who had appeared in front of him. "Your old bones are really hard. Today I'll help you loosen your bones." Ermao had been with Futaba recently. He did not learn any good habits, but his mouth was much better. "Ermao, you can only be the second master. I'm the first master." Futaba heard Ermao's words and shouted loudly. The people who were watching the fun all looked at Futaba. This little monkey could speak human language. There were so many strange things in Bugyaku. Although Ermao was only at the core formation stage, he was not at a disadvantage when facing Qi Zhanyun with the help of Guopai's treasures and some of Sun Wukong's fighting skills. "Zhanfeng, this kid is very strange. I'm not his opponent alone. Hurry up and attack. Let's work together to subdue him." Qi Zhanyun's heart sank as he fought. He clearly suppressed Ermao in terms of cultivation, but he could not gain the slightest advantage. In the end, he could not help but shout to Qi Zhanyu. Qi Zhanfeng's face turned redder when he heard his junior brother's words. The two of them had lived for hundreds of years. How could they work together to deal with a kid who was less than 20 years old? Even if they won, it would be a disgrace to the Wind and Cloud sect. "Why are you meddling in other people's business in Bugyaku? It's really unlucky. Let's subdue this kid first." Qi Zhanfeng shook his head and rushed to Ermao. "Ermao, use your staff to deal with them. It's 2 against 1. Why are you still being polite?" Futaba shouted at Ermao when he saw Qi Zhanfeng rushing to him. "Yes, I know. Brother Futaba, watch me deal with them with my staff." As Ermao spoke, he reached for his waist. A few women in the crowd quickly turned their heads to the side. Even Ao Yu's face turned red. Maotu asked Ermao to use a stick. Why did he touch his waist? Could it be that he was going to use? The group of people began to think of something evil. Of course, Ermao wasn't going to use his staff to deal with the Wind and Cloud elders. Originally, the pirated Jingu Bang was in his ear. However, every time he took it out, he couldn't hold it as elegantly as Guoshuai said. Therefore, Ermao attached the miniature version of the Jingu Bang to his waist. When it was time to use it today, Ermao realized that the Jingu Bang on his waist was stuck in his belt. "Ermao, I'm talking about that iron staff. not the other staff on your body. What the F***ck are you doing? You're really embarrassing us. Chapter 634. Futaba saw Mao untie his belt and couldn't help but curse loudly. Mao didn't take it seriously. I just untied my belt and took out my Jingu Bang. What's the big deal? The two old guys didn't fight me when I untied my belt. In fact, when the Wind and Cloud elders heard Futaba say 2 against 1, they felt a little ashamed. Naturally, they were waiting for Mao to take out his weapon. However, they didn't expect Mao to untie his belt. The two of them were stunned. What does this young man want to do? Is he really going to take out the thing that everyone has as a weapon? Big. Harry untied his belt. He didn't expect that the finger-sized golden cudgel would be stuck in his underwear that he hadn't worn for a long time. Along with his words, his underwear bulged, and the expressions of the group of people began to become rich. You guys wait. I'll take out the Jingu Bang and fight with you guys. At this time, Mao's face couldn't hold it anymore. He leaped and left the courtyard and returned to his own courtyard. Then, he took out the Jingu Bang from his underwear and returned to the courtyard of the reception room. Damn it. Monkey's face has been thrown away by you this time. If Sun Wukong knows that his successor is like this, he will probably beat this kid to death. Futaba looked at Mao, who appeared in front of everyone with disheveled clothes, and couldn't help but secretly say in his heart. However, what happened next was that Mao saved some face for the monkeys. Mao, who was holding a stick, only used a dozen rounds to subdue Elder Feng and Elder Feng. Then, he used his own belt to tie the two old men tightly. Brother Futaba, how is it? I did a good job. Mao picked up the Wind and Cloud elders and threw them beside Futaba and said with a smile, Who else do you want to tie up? Tell me. Who else do you want to tie up? The others have to be tied up. Do you still have a belt to use? Futaba said loudly, Hurry up and get out of here. Go and change your clothes. Look at what you have done. Your clothes are disheveled. Shameful. Ahem, I'll go change my clothes first. Mao looked at his outfit and flew back to his room. However, Wu Xiu, who was in a room, saw that Elders Feng and Yun were tied up and thrown on the ground like dumplings. No one dared to say a word. Even Elders Feng and Yun, who were in the late gold core stage, were beaten to such a state by a young man in Bugyaku whom he had never seen before. Wouldn't he be beaten to death by that stick just now? Brother Zhu Zi, Brother Fei, let's tie them up. If Sister Yuer comes back and sees that we haven't tied them up properly, she might get angry. The knife in her hand is not something we can handle, Futaba said with a smile. Xuede Zhu and Kong Fei shuddered. Yes, Boss Yuer's temper is much worse than Boss. After saying that, the two of them apologized to everyone and began to tie up the group of people. The things used to tie them up were the things tied around their waist. The room was full of people, more than 100 wuxiu. Today was an extremely unforgettable day for them. They were tied up by a few children using their own belt. If word got out, they would lose a lot of face. Humph, they actually dared to have ideas about Xiao Mengmeng. A group of big bad guys. Futaba looked at the group of people and couldn't help but say, Brother Zhu Zi, you keep an eye on them. I'll go find Sister Yuer to check the goods and see how to deal with these people. After saying that, Futaba flew out. At this time, Mao returned to the reception room from his residence. When he saw a group of people tied up by his belt, he couldn't help but widen his eyes. Brother Zhu Zi, where is Brother Futaba? He said that my clothes are untidy and shameful. These people also untied their belt. Aren't they more shameful than me? Mao's words made the group of people want to find a hole to hide in. Not long after, Yuer came in from the outside. Beside her was a smiling Futaba. Today, he had done the task given to him by Sister Yuer. Sister Yuer would definitely praise him when she sees these people. Futaba thought happily in his heart. You guys, who told you to tie them up like this? Yur looked at the group of people tied up by her belt and asked Futaba, Daju, and the others. Several people's eyes all fell on Futaba. Suddenly, Futaba felt that something was wrong. Was it wrong to tie people up like this? Fortunately, the group of people didn't leave. Yur gently shook her head and then said to Aou, You go and untie those women. Take the rest of the people to the back room. I guess Bad Guy will be here soon. Everything will wait for Brother Bad Guy to come. Almost an hour later, Guapai came back. He came back with a very unhappy face. Several people around him also looked helpless. Brother Bad Guy, how is it? Who is behind the scenes? Did you find out? 2 hours ago, we heard a sound transmission. It is very unfavorable for you and our medical center. Yur was the first to feel that Guapai had returned. She walked out of the room and greeted him. There is no doubt that it was done by the great demon. However, I don't know how they managed to get hold of the 3 big sects in Huaxia: Shushan, Maoshan, and Kunlun. Those sects have at least tens of thousands of wuxiu. They were directly wiped out. Not even one of them managed to escape to report. Guapai shook his head and said, Then what's going on with Wudong? Yur asked softly. The great demon set a trap. A group of Zhang Sanfeng's disciples foolishly fell into it. Guapai said softly, There was news that several Wudang sects were wiped out. Didn't anyone come to find trouble with us in Bugyaku? Boss, they came to find trouble. However, it has already been solved. They are all in the side room, Futaba said. Looking at the expressions of the people behind Futaba, Guapai guessed that the matter was not as simple as Futaba said. Futaba, lead the way. I want to see how you guys solved it. Guapai said loudly. Futaba walked in front. Yur could not help but stick out her tongue. Looking at the side room that was stuffed full of armaments that were tied up tightly, Guoshuai didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It was solved really not bad Hurry up and untie these people, Guapai said to Futaba and the people behind him. Futaba did not act immediately. Instead, he looked at Yur. Yur held back her laughter and nodded. After a while, the room was filled with people. Guapai looked at everyone with an apologetic expression. Guapai, what happened to Shu Mountain, Mao Mountain, Kunlun, and Wudang? I want to hear from you. Although I just received a telepathic message, I don't believe that a country's doctor would do such a thing. Qi Zhanfeng looked at Guapai and said softly. Although it was embarrassing for him to be tied up, today's matter was definitely a misunderstanding. From the moment Guapao appeared, the 2 elders of Mount Qilian had already discovered some clues. If the 4 sects were destroyed, Guapao's current aura wouldn't be like this. There was no killing intent at all, so how could he have killed people? The world is going to be in chaos. Chapter 635. With these words, the world was going to be in chaos. The room full of Wu Xiu's complaints suddenly became silent. Guopai, what happened? Elders Feng and Yun asked softly. Guopai directly took out a crystal ball the size of a soccer ball from his hand, then placed 9 yin-yang twin-life jades around the crystal ball. Then, he said softly, and the group of people focused their attention on the crystal ball. Shu Mountain was empty, Mao Mountain was full of corpses, and Kunlun was full of corpses. Finally, Wudong sect leader Zhang Tianyang shouted at the 9-tone elephant flute. The group of people was stunned. My disciples' parents are in the Shu Mountain Medical Pagoda. 2 days ago, the sect leaders of the Shu Mountain Sword and Qi sects came to Bugyaku to find me. They said that something happened to Shu Mountain. Now, little Han Wu, who is in the Shu Mountain Medical Pagoda, can testify. Early yesterday morning, I brought people from Bugyaku to Martial Emperor. The few strong auras that you felt that didn't dare to set off were our people from Bugyaku. That's right, Guapai said softly. After arriving at Shu Mountain, we found out that something had happened to Shu Mountain. My disciple also went to investigate the real culprit because of her parent. Of course, for the safety of my disciple, the people from Bugyaku and I chased in the direction of my disciple. When we found a trace of clues in the East Sea, she died. We rushed back to Shu Mountain again. When we arrived at Shu Mountain had already been destroyed and turned into the state in the crystal ball, Guopai said unhurriedly. I don't believe that there is someone in Huaxia who can turn Shu Mountain into this state overnight. Even your Tiandao sect doesn't have such ability, Qi Zhanyun said softly. This sentence directly cleared Guopai and the Tiandao sect's name. Guopao nodded his head gently. Although he could indeed wipe out Shushan overnight, now was not the time to be stubborn. What's going on with Mao Mountain? Someone asked softly. We don't know either. Following the clues from Mount Shu, when we arrived at Mao Mountain, there were corpses everywhere. There were no survivors, and from the wounds we couldn't tell which sect did it, Guopai said softly. Let me talk about Kunlun. After Guopai finished speaking, Guotongyuan stood up and said softly. Although the little guy looked like he had not yet reached adulthood, but the voice just now made the people above the fasting stage not dare to look down on this young man in front of them, because this young man was at least at the core formation stage. When we arrived at Kunlun, the situation in Kunming was the same as that of Mao Mountain. What surprised us the most was that the people from Kunlun died at the same time as that of Mao Mountain. This meant that there was a group of people who were so strong that even if Mao Mountain and Kunlun joined forces, they would still not be a match for them. Think about it, if these people were to deal with you, what are the chances of you being able to fight them? Are you stronger than Mao Mountain, Kunlun, and Shu Mountain? After Guotongyuan finished speaking, he found a place to sit down. The four major Wuxiu sects in Huaxia, Shu Mountain, Mao Mountain, Kunlun, and Wudong, 3 of them were destroyed in one day. If someone wanted to deal with them, it would be a piece of cake. Recently, there will be a lot of Wuxiu coming to Bugyaku to find my Tiandao sect. I don't have time to explain this matter one by one. I need your help. Helping my Tiandao sect is also helping yourselves. If you want to help, you can stay. If you want to stay out of it, Guopai will not stop you, Guopai said softly. Guopai, today we caused trouble in Bugyaku. It was our fault. We know that your Tiandao sect is strong. If you don't mind us, Qibing, being weak, we will stay in the Tiandao sect to help you get through this disaster of Wuxiu in Huaxia. An old man in the fasting realm stood up and said softly, I need a lot of people now. No matter how strong they are, I want everyone to put on a show with me. Let's see if we can lure out the mastermind behind this, Guopai said softly as he thought of a plan. If Sect Master Guo doesn't mind, Feng Yun is willing to stay in the Tiandao sect to help. Qi Lianshan and Feng Yun stood up and said. Following that, many people agreed to stay in Bugyaku. Of course, there were also people who chose to leave. Guopai gave a few words of advice to those who left and did not force them. Brother Bad Guy, Huaxia and Wuxiu's strength has improved so quickly. It is all thanks to you. Think about it, the Imperial Capital Auction House has a large-scale auction every month. Every month, you gave Sister Luyan so many pills. In the end, most of those pills ended up in the hands of Huaxia and Wuxiu. Naturally, their strength improved very quickly, Yuer said with a smile. Nearly 10,000 Wuxiu, more than 1,000 Wuxiu who had reached the fasting realm, and more than 5,000 Wuxiu who had reached the enlightening realm. This kind of lineup was even more powerful than the 4 great sects of Shu Mountain, Mao Mountain, Kunlun, and Wudong. Dazhu, go and call Guyan over. Guopai said to Dazhu with a smile. The more people, the better. The great demon had his own plans, and Guopai had his own plans. If they could succeed this time, Guopai was confident that he could make the great demon behind the scenes pay a heavy price. Dragon King, I am Guopai. You all know about what happened a few days ago. Remember, set up a formation on Mount Baolong. If anyone dares to barge into Mount Baolong, use the teleportation formation I left on Mount Baolong to come to Bugyaku. Don't resist. Guo Pai called Xiao Wudi. Naturally, Xiao Wudi also knew about the matter of Shu Mountain, Mao Mountain, and Kunlun. He was waiting for Guo Pai's call. Little bad, the old man is not good. You all have to be careful in Bugyaku. If it really doesn't work out, I will send 4 members of the dragon group to Bugyaku. There's nothing big on Mount Baolong, Xiao Wudi said softly. Guo Pai rejected Xiao Wudi's idea of increasing the number of members in Bugyaku. Haha, this should be enough for that dog fart banished immortal to be busy. This is just the beginning. To deal with a small Tiandao sect like yours, I don't even need to do anything. Hua Xia and Wu Xiu can cripple your Tiandao sect with just a mouthful of saliva. When the time comes, I will go and meet you, little banished immortal, haha. In the depths of the eastern sea, the lustful demon laughed. Ever since the matter of Shu Mountain, the news of Bugyaku being besieged had reached his ears. It was very comfortable. In recent years, he had been suppressed by Guo Pai in various ways. It had been a long time since he was so happy. My lord, there is news from the mainland. Because of the matter of Shu Mountain, Mao Mountain, and Kunlun, Wudong has contacted Wu Xiu. 3 days later, they will kill Guo Pai and the remaining members of the Tiandao sect at the top of the Formless Mountain. Should we go and take a look? A black-clothed man walked to the lustful demon and asked with a smile. Yes, I have to go. If they don't fight, I can add fuel to the fire. If they fight, I can clean up the scene after the fight. What do they call me? Yes, I'm a living Lei Feng. I'm a living Lei Feng. Chapter 636. Because of Zhang Tianyang's words, Bugyaku had indeed brought quite a bit of trouble. All the Wu Xiu from Hua Xia, and even the rogue cultivators from overseas, appeared in the imperial capital one after another. From the outside, the atmosphere in the imperial capital was indeed very tense. Sect leader Guo, you kindly went to our Wudang, but I brought so much trouble to the Tiandao sect. Zhang Tianyang has let you down. In the backyard of Bugyaku, Zhang Tianyang, the sect leader of Wudang, said to Guo Pai with an apologetic expression. If I was the sect leader of Wudang that day, I probably wouldn't have been able to suppress the fire. However, things have already come to this. If we can find the mastermind this time, it can be considered as revenge for Shu Mountain, Mao Mountain, and Kunlun. Guo Pai said with a smile. Sect leader Guo, if we can find the mastermind, the people of Wudang will be at your disposal. Zhang Tianyang patted his chest and said. The group of rogue cultivators also nodded. Everyone in the outside world knew that there were many people in strange clothes going into Bugyaku every day. Every time someone came out of Bugyaku, they would either curse or smash things. In any case, the days in Bugyaku were not easy. Cough cough, Emperor Jia, the stone lion at our door has been knocked down more than 130 times. Fortunately, our stone lion is sturdy, otherwise, it would have been broken. Chao Qinkuan said softly as he watched Zhu and Kong Fei lift the stone lion up again. Boss, how long do we have to continue acting? The two of us don't do anything but lift the stone lion here every day. Xue Dezhu walked to the back door of Bugyaku and said softly. Soon. I reckon the mastermind has already taken the bait. I wonder how Uncle Shui and the others are doing at Non-Phase Mountain. I'm really looking forward to it. Guo Pai said with a smile. Then, he heard a rumbling sound outside the door. Without thinking, he knew that the stone lion had been knocked down by the rogue cultivators again. Guo Pai brat, listen up. 3 days later, we will wait for you at Non-Phase Mountain. If you don't dare to come, we will wash the Tiandao sect with blood. After an old man finished speaking, he left Bugyaku angrily. While the imperial capital was in chaos in Bugyaku, Shui Yunzi and the 4 experts of the Dragon Clan were busy at Non-Phase Mountain. This time, Guo Pai had put in a lot of effort, Of Huaxia. Guopai. This time, he prepared to bring the rogue cultivators of Huaxia to face the great demon. In 3 days, Kai Tianyang already knew about the matter of Bugyaku. He called Guopai and asked if the country needed to step in. Guopai directly refused. He only asked that the matter of Bugyaku not be disclosed to the media to avoid any trouble. Kai Tianyang naturally knew. Although he didn't know much about the matters of Huaxia and Wuxiu, he more or less knew that these people couldn't be restricted by the laws of Huaxia. Guopai said that he didn't need to care about it, and Kai Tianyang didn't ask much. However, the imperial capital had already issued a strict order that no media could report anything about Bugyaku. Boss, today is the last day. When are we going to Non-Phase Mountain? Shuedeju looked at Guopai, who was still fiddling with the pills in his hand, and couldn't help but ask. Don't go. Stay in Bugyaku. If there's anything, tell you immediately. I'll take junior brother Tong Yuan and Xian Yuan how there. Guopai said with a smile. We're in the open. The enemy is in the dark. Nothing can happen to Bugyaku. Shuedeju nodded and didn't ask much. The nearly 10,000 Wuxiu who were originally staying in the Gu clan and Bugyaku had all been sent to Non-Phase Mountain. At this time, Non-Phase Mountain was already lively. Many high-level officials in the imperial capital could see that there were spots of fire on Non-Phase Mountain. This made the imperial capital's fire department's phone almost explode with calls. Let's go. Guopai said to Yuer with a smile. I'll leave the family to you. In theory, they won't attack Bugyaku, but it's better to be careful. You should also be careful. I don't know which of the Demon Lord's sons is the mastermind this time. Maybe it's a few guys who have joined forces to deal with the martial cultivators of the mortal world. You must be careful. Yuer warned him again. Then, she pulled out the 2 little guys who were dressed strangely. You don't have to worry about Xiao Mingmeng and Ling Imo. Their strength has been sealed by me. These 2 little guys actually wanted to go to Non-Phase Mountain to watch the fun. Fortunately, I found out early. Yuer said with a smile. Guopai looked at the 2 little girls pouting and couldn't help laughing. Stay at home. If you want to find someone to fight, there will be plenty of opportunities in the future. Guopai finished speaking and flew towards Non-Phase Mountain with Guotong Yuan and Xian Yuan how on his sword. Just as Guopai was flying towards Non-Phase Mountain from Bugyaku, the lustful demon's clone had already arrived at Non-Phase Mountain with 8 Golden Core stage demon soldiers under the Pacific Ocean. They mixed in with the crowd and were ready to watch the fun. When Guopai and the other 2 arrived at Non-Phase Mountain, the entire Non-Phase Mountain became lively again. Thinking about it, 10,000 Wuxiu gathered at Non-Phase Mountain. This kind of pressure was absolutely terrifying. Guopai brat, you actually dare to come. If you can't explain the matter of Shushan, Maoshan, and Kunlun clearly today, don't blame us for not remembering your contributions to Huaxia. An old man said loudly to Guopai. Are you guys stupid? Shushan, Maoshan, and Kunlun are Huaxia and Wuxiu's bulls. Do you think that our Tiandao sect can quietly exterminate them? Guopai said with a smile. Who knows what methods your Tiandao sect used? Now Wudong's sect leader Zhang is here, a witness. Before and after the incident of Shushan, Maoshan, and Kunlun, only your Tiandao sect's people appeared. What do you have to say? The old man continued to ask. Then what do you want? Do you think that you can deal with me with numbers? Guopai said with a fearless look and said with a smile, My Tiandao sect's people appeared, and you said that it was done by me. If I'm here now and something happens to your sect, will it not be done by me? Guopai, you dare? If you dare to let the people of Tiandao sect cause trouble in our sect now, we will definitely make your Tiandao sect restless. Several old men said loudly. You haven't let our Tiandao sect have a good time now. Guopai said with a smile, I already know your origins very well. Wudong, Qilian Mountain, Fengyang Mountain, Shaolin, Amei, Kongtong, and a group of rogue cultivators. Let's wait and see. Don't waste everyone's time. If you want to make a move, do it quickly. If no one dares to, this young master will go back and sleep with his wife. There are so many of us. Are we afraid of a single Tiandao sect? Let's attack together. I don't believe that just the three of them can beat so many of us. A voice came from the crowd. Then, several people echoed. Guopai was about to leave, but his gaze fell on the person who had just spoken. May I know who you are? Guopai asked with a smile. I am a rogue cultivator from overseas. You don't need to know who I am. Your Tiandao sect first slaughtered Shu Mountain, then destroyed Mao Mountain, Kunlun and Wudong. Now, even chickens and dogs are restless. Wu Xiu of the world should be killed by everyone in your Tiandao sect. The old man said loudly. Guopai walked towards the old man step by step. The people who had echoed just now also walked towards the old man. The originally lively crowd suddenly quieted down. Guopai was laughing. The onlookers were laughing. Only the old man and a few people who had echoed just now could not laugh. Chapter 637. Guopai, what are you doing? Are you going to attack me in front of all Wu Xiu? The old man couldn't help but shout as he watched Guopai walk towards him. Sect Master Zhang, you're the one who invited all Wu Xiu to attack the Heavenly Dao sect. Why don't you say something? Fellow Daoist, how should I address you? You don't look familiar, Zhang Tianyang said with a smile. I'm Gu Qianyang from the Eastern Sea's Thousand Sun sect. I rarely come inland, so of course you wouldn't recognize me. However, we all came here after receiving Wu Dang's message. Sect Master Zhang, you can't just sit by and watch, Gu Qianyang said loudly. Gu Qianyang, haha, what a good Gu Qianyang. You were Daoist Gu Qian back then, right? Guopai narrowed his eyes. Gu Qianyang, Sect Master Zhang probably forgot to tell you. When we attack Guopai, no one should speak. Only Daoist Yunyan can speak. Why are you shouting? What? What do you mean? Gu Qianyang's eyes widened. That's right, this Gu Qianyang was the clone of the lustful demon. Seeing that Guopai was about to leave, he naturally added fuel to the fire. Now he knew that he had been tricked. He wanted to watch the show, but he fell into the trap set by Guopai, Hua Xia, and the rest of Wu Xiu. You know what I mean now, right? Guopai narrowed his eyes and smiled at Gu Qianyang. Daoist Gu Qian, you dared to take responsibility for what you did in the past. Today's performance has disappointed Guopai. Amazing, truly amazing. I admit defeat. Gu Qianyang saw that more and more people were surrounding him and his six subordinate. His face darkened. However, if you want to deal with me, you'll have to pay a price. 10,000 Wu Xiu, all Wu Xiu below core formation, die. As Gu Qianyang spoke, he released all the pressure from his body. The six people around him also released their full strength. However, in the next moment, Gu Qianyang's face turned even uglier. There were nearly 10,000 Wu Xiu, and their cultivations were uneven. However, when Gu Qianyang was about to attack them, he found that he couldn't do anything to them at all. It was a formation. Turned out that the moment he spoke out against Guopai, he had been isolated by space. Daoist Master Gu Qian, I don't need to say more about your true identity. Guopai narrowed his eyes and said, I've spent so much effort to set up such a trap for you. Are you satisfied? Good move. I admit defeat this time. Gu Qianyang said loudly, but if I can be buried with all the disciples of Mount Shu, I won't lose in vain this time. Haha. Gu Qianyang's words made Guopai narrow his eyes. He didn't find any corpses in Mount Shu. From the beginning, he suspected that the great devil's people had taken them away. Not all of them were killed. Hearing the words of the lustful demon, Guopai was even more convinced that there were still disciples of Mount Shu alive. Sect Head Zhang, they are all peak golden core experts. Let everyone retreat. The formation in front of us can only trap these guys for a while. We can't let everyone take this risk. After Guopai finished speaking, Zhang Tianyang nodded. In a short while, almost all of the wuxiu had left. Only a dozen golden core experts were left standing behind Guopai. There are still disciples of Mount Shu alive. They are trapped by this Gu Qianyang. We can't kill him now. Guopai called out to Zhang Tianyang and the others as he said softly, "If we kill them, Mount Shu will really be annihilated. Little Yu, what do you want us to do? We will listen to you." Taoist Yunyan said softly. The others nodded. "I will open the formation in a while and leave one alive. I don't have the confidence to save the people of Mount Shu. However, this time we can't let Gu Qianyang escape. He must die." Guopai said ruthlessly. The lustful demon's clone. Previously, when he was trapped in the City of Desire, Guopai naturally knew how powerful this lustful demon was. If he could destroy one of the lustful demon's clones, it would more or less affect his main body. Guopai wouldn't give up on this opportunity. The few of them looked at each other and nodded. Guopai shouted the word break. The lustful demon, who was trapped in the formation, was delighted. However, just as he escaped from the formation, he was surrounded by Guopai and the others. "True Lord, to think that you would dare to let me out without using a killing formation. Ha! You've got some guts, eh? 5 golden core experts? Alright, I'll let you guys have a taste of my methods then," the lustful demon said as he dashed towards Guoshuai. "Third Prince, 12 golden lotus petals. Don't hold back. Junior brother Tong Yuan, I will leave the matter of keeping him alive to you," Guopai shouted. Xian Yuan, Hao and Guopai surrounded Gu Qianyang. The others also found their own opponent. In an instant, although Wu Xiu, who was brought by Gu Qianyang, was also in the Golden Core realm, he was at a disadvantage when fighting against Hua Xia and the others. Keep him alive? So true monarch still wants to save the people of Mount Shu. No wonder you didn't use the killing formation. However, you are underestimating my strength. Die for me. Gu Qianyang roared and dodged the joint attack of Guopai and the third prince. He actually attacked the 6 people he brought with him. "Grandpa Water, don't worry about Zheng's matter. First, help Brother Tong Yuan leave one alive. If they all die, then all of our efforts this time would have been in vain," Guopai roared. Gu Qianyang had already arrived in front of the 6 people. In the blink of an eye, 5 of them were killed. When he turned his hand to the last follower, an extremely gentle force wrapped around him. "Ancestor Water Immortal, you are actually working for the Heavenly Court. Just you wait. Sooner or later, I will kill all of you. Just you wait," Gu Qianyang roared. In the next moment, Guopai and Xian Yuan Hao arrived. The 12-petal lotus in Xian Yuan Hao's hand fiercely hit Gu Qianyang's head. "Mind-reading true monarch, just you wait. This time, I fell for your trick. However, there won't be a next time. The next time we meet, you won't be so lucky," Gu Qianyang roared. His body was shattered by the 12-petal lotus. He couldn't be more dead. Guopai took a deep breath and killed another clone of the lustful demon. However, Guopai recalled the incident in Desire City. Back then, he thought that he had destroyed the lustful demon's true body. In the end, what he destroyed back then was only a clone of the lustful demon. Under the rules of the mortal realm, the great demon wasn't easy to deal with. "Little Yu, that Gu Qianyang was killed by you?" Taoist Yunyan asked softly. "Gu Qianyang is already dead. I won't hide it from you guys. I believe that there are records of the devil race in the scriptures of various sections. The matters of the devil race weren't fabricated by people back then. It's true. This Gu Qianyang is the descendant of the great demon," Guopai said softly. The group opened their eyes wide. "I will first interrogate that devil race person and see if Shu Mountain can still be saved." After saying that, Guopai quickly walked towards the only devil race person saved by Shui Yunzi. Little bad, ordinary methods can't open this guy's mouth. Just use the soul-searching technique. A devil race person deserves to die. Chapter 638. Guopao nodded his head, and the soul-searching technique directly fell on the body of the Jindan realm devil. After a while, Guopao opened his eyes again, and a pill was placed in his mouth. Using the soul-searching technique on people of the same realm, Guopao spent a lot of mental and physical strength. The others didn't ask much, and just waited for Guopao's chi to stabilize. East Sea. Let's go to the East Sea. There are still survivors from Shu Mountain. We need to save them, Guopai said softly. The group of Wu Xiu nodded. After Guopai used the soul-searching technique on the devil, there were no longer any signs of life. Let's return to Bugyaku first. Gu Qianyang is dead. Let's discuss how to save him. After Guopai finished speaking, the group flew towards Bugyaku. The bonfires on Non-Phase Mountain were all extinguished by Shui Yunzi with a wave of his hand. After a few breaths of time, the group returned to Bugyaku. Sect Master Zhang, the matter has been resolved. The mastermind has been dealt with by us. You can let everyone return. The Wu Xiu in the nearest dojo can gather together and cultivate. Huaxia won't be too peaceful in the near future, Guopai said softly and handed over nearly 100 jade bottles to Zhang Tianyang and the others. There are some medicinal pills inside. Sect Master Zhang, distribute them to everyone. 1 pill per person will definitely be enough. You can take the rest and distribute them to the Wu Dang disciples. I hope everyone will make good use of their time to cultivate. Who knows if there will really be chaos one day, Guopai said softly. Zhang Tianyang nodded and led a group of people to distribute the medicinal pills with the Gu family members who had returned from Non-Phase Mountain. Little Bad, where are the people from Shu Mountain locked up? I saw that your body was a little weak after using the secret technique. You don't have to go this time. The few of us will go. If there's anything, we'll talk about it when the time comes, Taoist Yunyan said softly. My body is fine. The few of us aren't enough. We need to call for more people, Guopai said softly. Yun Yen and the others nodded. With Guopai's return, the entire Bugyaku backyard was once again filled with people. The matter of Shushan had to be resolved as soon as possible. Otherwise, if the lustful demon's other clones arrived in the East Sea, those trapped in Shushan would definitely die. Uncle Shui, Uncle Li, Uncle Chiu, Brother Qi, Brother Li, Tong Yuan, Xian Yuan Hao, Air Mao and Guohua, follow me to save them. Guohua looked at everyone and said softly. The others wanted to say something but they were stopped by Guopai. I'm not done yet. Uncle Ao, bring Ao Yuan, Ao Ji, Ao Yu Deju, and Kong Fei to the Qin family manor in Jade Tree. Find a place to stay near the heavenly stream. Once we're done with Shushan, we'll go to Jade Tree to find you, Guopai said softly. Ao Feng nodded gently. After settling the matters of Shushan and Jade Tree, Guopai called Yuer into the house. Ao Feng had already brought a few people from the dragon race and was rushing towards Jade Tree. Bad guy big brother, what else do you want to say? Yuer said with a smile. I'll leave Bugyaku to you. If a great demon really comes, don't resist. This limitless palace has already recognized its master. I'll leave it to you now. You can enter with this limitless pearl. I wonder what relationship this limitless pearl has with that old fellow from Shushan. If something really happens, bring Meng Meng and the others into the limitless palace, Guopai said softly. Yuer nodded. After I leave, tell them my identity. I'm a banished immortal that was banished to the lower realm. No matter how bad I am, I'm still someone who was once an immortal. I'm not afraid of being laughed at. After Guopai finished speaking, he flew out of the room and brought along Huaxia, a few loose cultivators of Gold Core Realm and Bugyaku's experts, and flew towards the East Sea. Yuer looked at Guopai flying away. She naturally knew who Yuer was talking about. she suddenly had more expectations in her heart. So what if he's a banished immortal? So what if he's a celestial immortal? So what if he's a sage? If he can't keep his heart, so what if he broke through the 18 heavenly layers? Although I don't know why Big Sister wants me to go down to the lower realm to accompany the true sovereign, but according to what Big Brother Bad Guy has done for the human world, the day he ascends to the heavenly realm again is not far away. After Guapai left, Ur called all the girls into the house. Although everyone met together every day, it was the first time they gathered together like this. Big Sister, Big Brother Bad Guy just went out again. Why did you call us here? Little Ling Mo looked at Ur and asked with a smile. Sisters, it's been so many years. Do you still remember how Big Brother Bad Guy looked like when you first met him? Ur's words made the girls' faces turn red. They knew Guapai in different ways. Most of them met Guapai in Wu Castle. It had been several years. Little Sister Ur, did Big Bad Guy ask you to tell us something? If there's anything, just say it directly. Lin Shuang said with a smile. The other girls also nodded. Big Brother Bad Guy told you, right? He's a celestial immortal. Ur said with a smile. As soon as she finished speaking, the other girls nodded. Yi Zi and Tang Shi burst into laughter. Yes, every time we ask him why he's different from before, he always says that he's a celestial immortal. However, in recent years, Big Brother Bad Guy has been really powerful. Many people in the capital say that Big Brother Bad Guy is a living celestial immortal. Murong Weiwei said softly. Do you believe that he's a celestial immortal? Ur asked with a smile. How can he be a celestial immortal? He's a complete bad guy in Wu Castle. He was just lucky that he was discovered by the seniors in your sect and brought on the right path. Yu said with a smile. The others nodded. They had the same thoughts as Yu. The fourth of the 4 bad guys in Wu Castle was also a famous one in Wu Castle. Why are you acting so strange today? What's the matter? Sun Ling asked softly. Would you believe me if I said that Big Brother Bad Guy is a celestial immortal? Ur said softly. A few years ago, Guapai died in a car accident. Big Brother Bad Guy happened to be the Mind Reader Sage. When he was banished to the lower realm, Mind Reader Sage took over Guapai's body and became the current bad guy. As Ur spoke, the others laughed as if they were listening to Ur's story. Ur looked at their expressions. Except for little Ling Mo, who kept nodding, no one believed her. You don't believe me? Ur asked with a smile. The girls nodded. Then how do you explain the pills that Big Brother Bad Guy gave you? How do you explain Big Brother Bad Guy's various supernatural powers? Could it be that you've seen these things before you met Big Brother Bad Guy? Ur continued asking. Little Sister Ur, if it's true that Guapai is a celestial immortal, then you're his martial brother and sister. You're also a celestial immortal, Lin Shuang said with a smile. I'll let you see my real body. If I don't tell you clearly now, you won't have the chance to know in the future. As Ur spoke, she disappeared in front of the others. A snow-white rabbit without a single strand of mixed fur sat where Ur had just been. Little Mama turned into a rabbit. Chapter 639. Following Xiao Mengmeng's words, the group of girls' gazes landed on where Ur had been sitting. A little white rabbit with a translucent body slowly stood up and looked at everyone. Hurry up and transform back. We believe you, Lin Shuang said in a trembling voice. Lin Shuang said with a trembling voice. In the past, she only knew that Ur and Guapao were fellow apprentices. They knew how to fly, how to turn invisible, and how to do many things that they didn't know. However, she never imagined that Ur could turn into a rabbit. Little Mommy, teach Meng. You used a transformation technique just now, right? It's too amazing. Little Mommy, can you transform into another small animal? Xiao Meng whispered to Ur, who had already transformed back into a human. Xiao Meng, Come over to mommy and sit down properly. Don't pester mommy, Lin Shuang said softly to Xiao Mengmeng. The little girl pouted and returned to little Lingma's side. You are also an immortal who descended to the mortal world, right? If you are a rabbit, what is Guopai? Sun Lingling still couldn't believe it. However, Yuer had indeed transformed into a rabbit just now. Scoundrel Gua is a celestial being from the heavens. I am the Jade Rabbit by Fairy Chong Yi's side. Yuer looked at the shocked expressions of the group and said with a smile. Now she could explain it clearly. Big bad guy, big pervert. It seems that he is not a good person in the heavens. Did he fail to seduce Big Sister Chong Yi in the heavens, so he went to look for Big Sister Yuer? Little Lingma mumbled. Cough, cough. Little girl, you have to be careful with your words. Some things can't be said carelessly. Yuer's face darkened when she heard little Lingma say that he was trying to seduce Chong Yi. At this time, Guopai, who was flying towards the East Sea, suddenly sneezed in the air. Several people flying together looked at Guopai in unison. Guopai waved his hand at everyone. However, in his heart, he muttered, "Who is talking bad about me behind my back? So bad guy bro is really a god. No wonder he's so powerful now." Tang Shi murmured. Little Yizi nodded his head vigorously. Yu also opened her eyes wide. Do Grandpa and Grandma know about Brother Bad Guy? Lin Shuang asked softly. I don't know. Brother Bad Guy only asked me to tell you about him. The world is not as peaceful as you believe. This is also why Guopai told you not to slack off on your cultivation, Yuer said softly. What Yuer said today we can't tell anyone outside of this house, not even Grandpa and Grandma. Let's wait for Guopai to come back and ask him if there's anything, Lin Shuang said softly. The girls nodded. Yuer, I have one last question. Why was Big Brother Bad Guy banished to the mortal world? Sun Lingling asked softly. The girls became excited again. Yes, what did Big Bad Guy do to be banished to the mortal world? Cough, cough. You can ask him personally when he comes back, Yuer said with a slightly red face. Don't go out for the time being. Stay in Bugyaku. If something happens, I can protect you. Later, Yuer talked to the group of girls about cultivation. At noon, the group of girls came out to eat. After eating, everyone surprisingly returned to their rooms and entered a meditative state. It seems that Bad Guy Bro calculated well. It's time to tell these people about his identity. After Yuer finished speaking, she entered the limitless palace that Guopai left for her. She now needed to familiarize herself with the matters of the limitless palace. Guopai and the others flew at full speed towards the East Sea. After about an incense stick's worth of time, they arrived above the East Sea. Little Bad Bro, where are the people from Shushan locked up? We need to hurry. If we delay, something might happen, Shui Yunzi said softly. At the bottom of the East Sea. However, there can't be no one above. Uncle Shui, lead the third prince and junior brother Tong Yuan to guard the top. I will lead the others to the bottom of the sea. After Guopai finished speaking, he dived towards the bottom of the sea. The other top experts from Huaxia also took out their magic treasures and dived towards the bottom of the sea. Second brother, third brother, go and kill that brat. He destroyed one of my clones. They must have gone to save the people from Shushan. Kill him. Go to the East Sea and kill them. At the bottom of the heaven-reaching cascade, Lustful Demon spoke to Shui Mang and Poison Demon through a jade stone. Fourth brother, Royal Father told us from the start not to provoke that banished immortal. However, you refuse to listen. However, the destruction of your clones is worth it. To be able to kill everyone from Maoshan and Kunlun, you have killed at least 1/10 of Wu Xiu's strength in the human realm. Blood Demon laughed. Second brother, that banished immortal contacted all the loose cultivators in the human realm and set a trap for me. Otherwise, how could he have destroyed my clones? I refuse to accept this. I refuse to accept this. Lustful Demon roared. Fourth brother, back then, royal father said that you were the calmest among us. I wonder why you are so rash this time? Poison Demon laughed and said, It's good that one of your clones was destroyed. This time, you only brought 6 demonic soldiers with you. Your losses aren't that great. Just stay in the heaven-reaching cascade obediently. Once the ancient demonic bug awakens, everything will be easy. When that time comes, we will send out billions of demonic soldiers. Let alone a banished immortal of the human realm, even the heavenly court will be ours. Third brother, that banished immortal must have gone to the bottom of the East Sea. You have a clone in the East Sea. Even if you can't kill that brat, you have to make the people around him pay the price. You should make a trip. If not, you can go to the imperial capital and take away his women. We can't let him be so impudent, right? Lustful Demon roared. Haha, my good little brother. Big brother will go out and take a look. If I can avenge you, Big brother will help you this time. If I can't, don't blame Big brother. After Poison Demon said that, Lustful Demon stopped talking. The 5 sons of the Demon Sovereign also quieted down. True Lord Mind Reading brought a group of people to the East Sea to save people. There shouldn't be any defenses at home. I'll go to the Imperial capital to take a look. True Lord Mind Reading has high standards. His women must be beautiful. I'll kidnap a few of them and send them to Fourth Brother. Haha. After Poison Demon said that, a clone in the bottom of the Pacific Ocean left the Pacific Ocean and flew in the direction of the Imperial capital. Sect Master Gua, where are the people from Shushan locked up? Is it easy to find them? Taoist Yun Yen asked softly. Right here. There's an array formation set up here. I'll break the array formation. Help me guard the array formation first. After Gua Pai said that, his consciousness seeped into the array formation at the bottom of the sea. After about 5 minutes, Gua Pai opened his eyes once again. Sect Master Gua, how is it? Taoist Yun Yen asked. It's not difficult to break the array formation. This is the 8 trigrams God sealing array. However, the person who set it up isn't strong. Stand according to the positions I tell you. When the array core is exposed, I'll break the array formation. Gua Pai explained the method to break the array formation. Everyone nodded. They recognized Gua Pai's ability to break the array formation. Break. Gua Pai and company busied themselves for another 5 minutes before Gua Pai roared. A huge rock in front of them slowly moved away, allowing everyone to see the situation inside. Dahua is inside. My parents are also inside, Guohua said excitedly. The great array had yet to be completely broken, and the people inside could see Gua Pao and the others. Immediately, the people inside grew excited. Chapter 640. Old Fei, Gua Pai is here to save us. Zhang Bujing said excitedly when he saw Gua Pai and the rest. Thousands of Shushan disciples were trapped in the East Sea. Zhang Bujing would never forget the scene that day. That day, when Gua Pao and the others had just left Mount Shu, the Great Mountain Barrier Array had already been repaired by the combined efforts of the elders of Mount Shu. However, less than 10 breaths of time after the array began operating again, a powerful pressure forcefully broke the array apart. At that time, Zhang Bujing and Fei Tianyang knew that there were foreign enemies coming, so they led a group of Shu Mountain sect elders and prepared to defend the martial sacred hall to the death. However, the people who came were too strong. 100 golden elixir realm experts basically swept through all the Shu Mountain disciples and captured them. My lord, we have found the location of Froda. Our people have already entered, and we have captured 2 fire mythical beasts. We are lucky this time. We even captured a small fire mythical beast that has already transformed into a human form, a man in black said softly to the lustful demon clone. Back then, Zhang Bujing and Fei Tianyang knew that they were really done for this time. The medical tower was discovered and the foundation of Shushan was completely destroyed. Back then, all the Shushan disciples were trapped in a magic treasure by the lustful demon and were then trapped at the bottom of the East Sea. The people of Shushan did not know what happened after that. At that time, Zhang Bujing recalled a handwritten message that Master Wuji had left behind in Shushan. Shushan was in a crisis and had to be rebuilt after destruction. A group of Shushan disciples finally met their savior. It seems like these people know about my Laojun gourd. Otherwise, it would be impossible to bring them out of the East Sea. Guopai looked at the people trapped in the formation. There were thousands of people, but less than 10 people could swim to the surface like them. If they wanted to bring all the Shushan disciples out, they could only put them into the Laojun gourd. Sect Master Guo, is there any way to bring the Shushan disciples out? If we rashly break the formation now, I'm afraid these disciples won't be able to withstand the pressure underwater, Taoist Yun Yen said softly. I have a magic treasure that can take living people in. However, living people can't stay in there for too long. Right now, I can only take in Shushan disciples. Guopai said softly. A group of Huaxia's top wuxiu widened their eyes. Although they had their own magic weapons, they didn't dare to think that there was really such a spatial magic weapon in the world. They didn't even dare to think that such a spatial magic weapon could hold thousands of people. Since Sect Master Guo possesses such a magic treasure, things will be easy this time around. Let's get ready to begin, Taoist Yun Yen said with a smile. Guopai nodded his head and brought out the old lord's gourd. Withdraw. About 10 minutes later, Guopai shouted the word withdraw at the moment when the formation was broken. Thousands of Shushan disciples who were trapped at the bottom of the sea all disappeared in the formation. Guopai's face was pale. Under the escort of several people, he quickly flew towards the surface of the sea. Cough, cough. I've never tried to store so many people at once. I didn't expect it to consume so much divine power. After about 10 minutes, Guopai and the others rushed out of the water. Guopai gasped for breath. Little Bad, how was it? You rescued them, right? You don't look too good. After rushing out of the water, Shuyunzi was the first to sense Guopai's aura. He flew to Guopai's side and asked softly, Lord Shuyunzi, make a formation on the surface of the water that can hold people. I'll release the Shushan disciples. They won't be able to last long in the old lord's gourd. Guopai said softly. Shuyunzi nodded his head. The water under everyone's feet suddenly seemed to be petrified. Although it was still flowing, everyone could already stand on the surface of the water. Amazing! The Tiandao sect is really full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. With such means, if they wanted to deal with us back then, it would be a piece of cake. Several Huaxia Jindan experts looked at the petrified water under their feet and couldn't help but exclaim, Hee, Lord Shuyunzi isn't from our Tiandao sect. It's all because of my face that I was able to invite Lord Shuyunzi here. Guopai said with a smile. After his aura stabilized, he took out the old lord's gourd again and said loudly, Come out. Thousands of Shushan disciples appeared on the surface of the water. Where is this? We're out. Why can't we sink? A Shushan disciple who came back to his senses looked at the flowing water under his feet. The water didn't touch his body, and he couldn't sink either. He suddenly became excited. We're saved. We came out of that dark place. It was Sect Master Guopai of the Tiandao sect who saved us. A Shushan disciple of the enlightening period raised his head and saw Guopai. He couldn't help but exclaim loudly. Everyone looked at Guopai in unison. Sect Master Guo, for Shushan to be able to pass this calamity, your kindness to Shushan will always be remembered. If there's anything you need us to do in the future, we will definitely do our best. Zhang Bujing and Fei Tianyang walked in front of Guopai and said loudly, If you want to thank, you should thank the people around me. If they didn't work together to break the formation, Guopai wouldn't be able to save you all by himself. Guo Pai pointed at the Huaxia Jindan experts, and said with a smile. Zhang Bujing and Fei Tianyang once again thanked Taoist Yunyan and the others. Bad Master, please come over. My parents don't seem to be able to make it. Guohua quickly walked in front of Guo Pai and said loudly. Guo Pai didn't dare to hesitate and followed Guo Pai to an open space. Guohua was holding 2 fire mythological beasts that were the size of full moon puppies. The extreme cold of the bottom of the sea has a great impact on the fire mythological beasts. Your parents haven't transformed yet, and their bodies have been completely invaded by the cold. Guo Pai placed his hand on the fire mythological beasts and said softly after a while. Let's go back to Shushan first. I'll think of a way when we get there. They won't die, but they won't have the invincible might they had in the past. Guo Pai shook his head and looked at Huohuo and Guohuo. Then, he stuffed a pill into the mouths of the 2 fire mythological beasts and kept them in the old lord's gourd. Let's go back to Shushan first. We'll talk about other things when we get there. Guo Pai rested on the sea for a while and slowly got up. Everyone nodded. Then, Guo Pai didn't dare to put the Shushan disciples back into the gourd. Instead, he took out the big ship that he obtained in the East Sea and let the Shushan disciples board it. After setting up a grand array on the ship, several Jindan experts stayed on the ship while the others flew back to Shushan. After arriving at Shushan, Guo Pai didn't dare to delay. Although the resting platform couldn't be restored to its original state under the joint efforts of several people, it could still be used. Guo Pai placed the 2 fire mythological beasts on the resting platform and then set up a spiritual energy gathering formation around the resting platform. After about half an hour, the 2 fire mythological beasts slowly recovered their vitality. However, they were still much weaker than before they were caught. Take them back to Froda first. The formation of Froda has been destroyed and can't be repaired in a short time. Give them 3 of these pills every day. After about 3 days, the Yin poison in their bodies will be expelled. In these 3 days, the 2 of you will take turns to nourish their bodies with the source of fire. This will allow them to absorb the best effect of the pills. Guo Pai instructed Huohuo and Guohua. Both of them nodded hurriedly and knelt down in front of Guo Pai. Get up. Guo Pai is considered a member of the Tiandao sect. Huohua is also related to me. Saving your parents is my duty. You don't have to be so courteous. After Guo Pai finished speaking, his face suddenly turned gloomy. Not good. Something happened to Bugyaku. That damned demon. Chapter 641. Guo Pai had just dealt with the matter of the volcano beast when he suddenly sensed that an extremely hidden formation he had set up outside Bugyaku had been activated. This formation was something Guo Pai had figured out after fighting with several great devils. Anyone with the devil aura of a great devil entering Bugyaku would activate the formation. He didn't expect that a great devil would enter Bugyaku so brazenly today. Little Bad, what happened? Didn't you divine this morning that there was nothing wrong? Why are you suddenly so nervous? Shui Yunzi asked softly. Lord Shui, let's return to the imperial capital immediately. I don't know which great devil went to Bugyaku, but I'm afraid you will be at a disadvantage. Guo Pai didn't explain to the people from Shu Mountain and flew back to Bugyaku with Shui Yunzi and the others. Not long after Guo Pai and the others left Bugyaku, a patient came to Bugyaku. It was a middle-aged man who seemed to be in good spirits. However, he came to Bugyaku and said that he was sick. Chen Jiadi and the others took turns to check his pulse but didn't find anything wrong with him. You were rushed over from Bugyaku's backyard after hearing the news. How should I address you, sir? As soon as she arrived at Bugyaku's clinic, Yu-Er's gaze fell on the middle-aged man. This man wasn't immortal. Yu-Er could clearly sense that he was releasing immortal energy. Others might not be able to sense it, but Yu-Er was extremely sensitive to this kind of immortal energy. You must be perfected Lord's wife. The heavenly court really gave perfected Lord face by letting a fairy come down to accompany him. No wonder perfected Lord was reluctant to leave the human world. The middle-aged man said with a smile, I came from the same place as you. Today I specially came to visit perfected Lord. After the middle-aged man finished speaking, Yor nodded gently. To be able to know about her and Guapai's origins, he most likely came from the heavenly court. However, Yor wasn't sure whether he was a friend or a foe. Now that you know Yor's identity, I wonder why Mr. came to Bugyaku to look for my husband? Yor asked with a smile, letting the students of Bugyaku leave. This isn't a good place to talk. Why don't we talk inside? The middle-aged man smiled and said, I'm the Myriad Medicine Monarch. Back in the days, I was considered a close friend of the mind-reading monarch in the heavenly court. This time, I came to the human world for some matters and specially came to meet the mind-reading monarch. Myriad Medicine Lord? I have never heard my husband mention your name before. Yor said with a smile, but since you are my husband's good friend in the heavenly court, you can stay in the medical center first. It is estimated that my husband will return to Bugyaku in a day. After Yor finished speaking, she ordered Zhou Tianyang to prepare food. It was time for lunch, so she was ready to let the Myriad Medicine Lord eat together. At noon, there was no lunch. Because the Myriad Medicine Lord came, Zhou Tianyang specially made a few more dishes. Guapai was not there, so Yor called Li Yao and Jia Yuan to accompany the Myriad Medicine Lord to eat and drink in the backyard. She and the other girls ate at another table. Brother, since you are my fourth brother's friend, then you are our friend. Since we are in Huaxia, let's play with you. Let's have a drink. Li Yao picked up a wine glass and said to the Myriad Medicine Lord, Since you are the brother of my brother Guapai, then you are my friend. Since it is the first time we meet, these little things will be given to you two brothers. The Myriad Medicine Lord was really generous. He directly gave each of them a water avoidance pearl. Yor glanced at it. This Myriad Medicine Lord was really generous. Then we will not be polite to you, brother. We will accept this thing. Li Yao and Jia Yuan looked at each other and directly put away the water avoidance pearl. The three people continued to drink, but the Myriad Medicine Lord's eyes were glancing at Yor and the other girls at the table. This wine is really delicious. No wonder Guapai is not willing to go back. With beautiful women and good wine, his life is really comfortable. After drinking a few glasses of wine, the Myriad Medicine Lord said with a smile. Li Yao and Jia Yuan were surprised. Yor stood up and walked to the front of the Myriad Medicine Lord and gave Li Yao and Jia Yuan a wink. Sir, this wine is delicious. You should drink more. When Brother Bad Guy just arrived, he also praised the wine, saying that there is no such wine in the sky. Yor said with a smile. Li Yao and Jia Yuan naturally understood what Yor meant. Their eyes once again looked at the Myriad Medicine Lord. Yes, there is no such wine in the sky. Today I will drink a few more glasses. The Myriad Medicine Lord said with a smile and drank a glass of wine again. Brother Yao, come out. I have something to say to you. After Yor toasted the Myriad Medicine Lord, she said to Li Yao with a smile. Li Yao nodded and walked out. This person is not Guapai's friend. If I'm not wrong, this person is very likely to be our enemy. You go and send a message to Wu Xiu of the Violent Dragon Group. Tell all the Violent Dragon Group's Golden Elixir Realm experts to ambush around Bugyaku. He wants to deal with us, let him pay a price. After Yor finished speaking, Li Yao used the excuse of going to the toilet to call Xiao Wudi. Guapai left with the group of people in Bugyaku. Now, the only one who could compete with this person was Yor. If there was anyone who could resist for a while, it would be the group of Golden Elixir Realm soldiers of the Violent Dragon Group. After Li Yao finished the call with Xiao Wudi did not dare to delay. He appeared outside Bugyaku with the Violent Dragon Group's Golden Elixir Realm soldiers. Of course, they all restrained their auras, so the myriad medicine lord did not notice anything. Sir, my husband hasn't returned yet. Let me give you another toast. Us women can't hold our liquor well. After drinking this cup, I'll take them back to the house to rest. You can chat with my eldest brother and second brother for a while. I reckon my husband will be back soon. As Ur spoke, she drank the wine in her hand in one gulp. The myriad medicine lord looked at Ur with a playful smile and drank all the wine in his cup. However, he directly blocked in front of Ur. Since scoundrel Gwa didn't come, I'll take my younger sisters-in-law out for a walk. We just finished drinking, it's not bad to go out and get some fresh air. With that, the myriad medicines lord actually directly attacked Ur. Pervert, I already knew that you weren't Gwapai's friend. If you're not a friend, then you're an enemy of Bugyaku at this juncture. Tell me what you're doing in Bugyaku this time, Ur said and tied up the myriad medicine lord with the ribbon in her hand. How do you know my identity? This clone of mine cultivates a 9th-grade heavenly immortal art. Its entire body is emitting immortal chi, the myriad medicine lord asked in disbelief. The fine wine you just drank was all brewed by Gwapai himself. Since you're his best friend, how can you not drink Brother Bad Guy's fine wine? It's obvious that you're not Brother Bad Guy's friend. If you're not his friend, then why did you come to Bugyaku at this time and look around with your dirty eyes? Do you think we've caught the wrong person? Ur said loudly with her beautiful eyes staring fiercely. You're indeed a fairy from heaven. I didn't expect that I would be exposed. But so what? Do you think you can keep me, poison devil, with just a group of people? As the myriad medicine lord's voice fell, his clothes turned black and his appearance turned into the appearance of poison devil. So many beauties. It's a pity to follow the mind-reading sage. I'll reluctantly accept all of them. Chapter 642. Poison Demon shouted. The ribbons that Ur tied to Poison Demon's body were all cut. Poison Demon walked towards Ur and the other girls. Show me what you've got. Otherwise, you won't have a chance later. Poison Demon looked at Ur and the group of people behind her lecherously. Big Brother Bad Guy, you're back. Hurry up and kill this disgusting guy. Ur's eyes suddenly lit up as she looked behind Poison Demon. Poison Demon was stunned. How could he not sense any aura at all? That true Lord Mind reading had actually returned. How was this possible? Just as Poison Demon was distracted, Ur crushed a jade core in her hand. Then, all the girls in the house disappeared. No matter who you are, wait for Big Brother Bad Guy to return and deal with you, Ur said loudly. Her voice entered Poison Demon's ears. Ur's aura had completely disappeared. Good, very good. To think that I, Poison Demon, have roamed the 3 realms for 10,000 years. I didn't expect to be played by a woman today. True Lord Mind reading, your woman has escaped. It doesn't matter. Bugyaku is your base camp. I'll collect some interest first, Poison Demon said as he walked out of the backyard of Bugyaku and walked towards the front yard of Bugyaku. Set up the formation. Against those who are very strong, don't hold back. Kill them with all your might. Just as Poison Devil walked into the open space in the backyard, a powerful pressure suddenly fell on Poison Devil's body. Xia Wudi led the violent dragon group's Golden Core soldiers to set up a killing array and trapped Poison Devil inside. A bunch of ant-like people actually want to trap me, Poison Demon. Die, all of you. Poison Demon roared and rushed toward Xia Wudi. However, he never expected that the person who was originally like an ant in front of him would also set up an illusory formation while setting up a killing formation. Under the influence of the human realm's rules, Poison Demon didn't hit anyone at all. Although Xia Wudi and the others were much weaker than Poison Demon, they had already set up the formation for a long time. Poison Demon didn't gain any advantage from their sneak attack. You want to trap me, Poison Demon, with such a stupid array? The Poison Devil's attack missed, and he felt even more irritated. However, after a while, the poison devil calmed down. The array Guapai and the others had set up was only similar. If Guapai had personally set up the array, he could have killed the poison devil with a sneak attack. Now, the few of them could only trap the poison devil. Open up. There are too many loopholes in your array formation. Poison Demon shouted as the array formation that trapped him shook violently. However, the array formation did not break apart as he had expected. With just a few light adjustments, the loopholes in Poison Demon's attack were completely mended. Impossible. How can this be? You are clearly just a bunch of ants. How can you coordinate so well? Aren't you afraid of death? Poison Demon was stunned as he roared. The Poison Demon's attack had indeed hit a loophole in the killing array. If no one had risked their lives to block the array formation after being blasted away by the Poison Demon, the killing array would have been broken by the Poison Demon. However, just as the Poison Demon broke through the loophole, a few Golden Elixir Realm soldiers had already changed their positions and blocked the loophole. After about 10 minutes, although Xia Wudi and the people he had brought were injured to varying degrees, they still managed to trap the Poison Demon in the array formation. This won't do. I have to go out. If it's just Xia Wudi and his people, they won't be able to kill this clone of the Poison Demon. It's very likely that he will escape. Yu-Er looked at Bugyaku's situation and said while biting her lips, "Big sister Yu-Er, I'll go down with you. With the two of us working together, even if this Poison Demon really goes crazy, he won't be able to kill the two of us." Futaba walked to Yu-Er's side and said softly, "Let's go. Let's leave Wuji Palace and go take a look. We can't let this Poison Demon out. Otherwise there will really be trouble." Yu-Er's worries weren't unfounded. The Poison Demon's greatest weapon wasn't his cultivation realm or Dharma treasure. Instead, it was the thing he was best at, poison. Yu-Er and Futaba left Wuji Palace and joined Xia Wudi and the others in the array formation. The array formation was already destroyed by the Poison Demon. With the addition of Yu-Er and Futaba, the Poison Demon was once again trapped inside. "You forced me. You forced me. Do you really think that I'm the same as you and can only unleash the strength of a Golden Elixir realm? Since you're courting death, I'll use this clone of mine to destroy your entire Huaxia Bugyaku." After saying that, the Poison Demon's strength increased again. Thunder rumbled in the sky. Yu-Er frowned. Not good. This Poison Demon actually chose to break through to the Golden Elixir realm in Bugyaku's backyard. If that's the case, the heavenly lightning will definitely fall on Bugyaku. If that's the case, Bugyaku will be in trouble. Yu-Er bit her lips and said, "Yu-Er, lass, is there any other way? If his aura continues to increase, our array formation won't be able to suppress him." Xia Wudi gritted his teeth and said softly, "Open the array formation. We can't trap him anymore. If he really leads the heavenly lightning to Bugyaku, we won't be able to bear such a huge loss. This is the cycle of karma. All the karma will fall on Big Brother Bad Guy." Yu-Er said softly. Xia Wudi and the others exchanged glances. The group of people left the array formation together. Following that, the Poison Demon walked out of the array formation. "Haha, Fairy, you can't bear to see your big brother Poison Demon die, right? Haha." The Poison Demon looked at Yu-Er lecherously and said, "It's fine if you don't want me to destroy this Bugyaku. Your husband has ruined many of our demon race's plans. Our clones have also been destroyed by him many times. I have to take you away. Otherwise, how am I going to explain this to my brothers?" As the Poison Demon spoke, he walked towards Yu-Er step by step. "Big Brother Bad Guy, you're finally here. If you didn't come, your wife would have been taken away by him." Yu-Er's eyes lit up as she shouted behind the Poison Demon. "Do you think I'm stupid? You actually dared to use the same trick in front of me a second time. Come with me obediently. I will let you live like an immortal again. Haha, it's been a long time since I've seen such a top-grade woman like you. I'm afraid that with your figure and appearance, you would be considered top grade even in the heavenly court. As the poison demon spoke, his large hand reached towards you. You dare to touch my woman? You're really courting death. I've killed the clones of your brothers. It seems that I'm only missing your poison demon. This time I've gathered all of them. Just as the poison demon's hand was about to touch you, a terrifying pressure fell on the poison demon's body. The poison demon's reaction was very fast. Just as he was about to retract his hand, a throwing knife directly cut off his entire hand from his wrist. Ah! Mind-reading true monarch. Good, very good. I will make you pay the price. The poison demon roared. Although it was only a clone, the pain of having his hand cut off still made him shout loudly. How dare you sneak an attack on my Bugyaku? Stay here. Guapai narrowed his eyes and said. A long sword appeared in his hand. This was a Dharma treasure that he had obtained from the 9 heavens purgatory. He directly stabbed it at the poison demon. I don't want this clone anymore. I'll let you have a taste of the poison demon's, power. The poison body self-destructs and all lives will be buried with it. Chapter 643. Guapai's heart tightened when he heard the words all life will be buried with him. He had seen such words in the heavenly book. Poison demon self-destructed, causing chaos in the human world and nearly destroying it. Fortunately, someone from the Buddhist sect found a way to neutralize the poison and averted the disaster. Lord Water used the array formation. Don't let the poison from poison demon's clones spread out. Otherwise, it will be troublesome. Guapai hurriedly shouted to Shui Yunzi. Shui Yunzi didn't hesitate. A gentle light of water fell outside the array formation that Guapai had set up. Boom! Poison demon's clone self-destructed. He couldn't be more dead. Guapai clenched his teeth and used the array formation to prevent the poison from spreading out. Uncle Li, Uncle Chiu, seal me up. It will be troublesome to deal with this self-destructed poison. After Guapai finished speaking, Li Shixin and Chiu Daoyuan looked at each other and shook their heads. Uncle Li, Uncle Chiu, seal me up quickly. Something might happen if we delay. Guapao bellowed again. Li and Chiu nodded furiously and a sealing magic array trapped Guapao. Naturally, it also trapped the poison demon's body, which was left behind after its self-detonation. Little Bad, you must deal with this poison. If you die in the array that we set up, we will regret it for the rest of our lives. Li Shixin said softly. He then asked Chiu Daoyuan to chase away all the irrelevant people. Although they had set up the array formation, they couldn't guarantee that the poison wouldn't escape. If even a trace of it escaped, the human world would be in chaos. After Li Shixin and the rest set up the array formation outside Bugyaku, Shui Yunzi checked it again and found no problems. The group gathered in Bugyaku's backyard again. Lord Water, Uncle Li, Uncle Chiu, how is Big Brother Bad Guy? Yuer asked softly. The other girls had already been released from Wuji Palace. The group was waiting expectantly for their return. Little Bad resisted the poison with his own body. He asked us to seal him together with Poison Demon's poison body. His fate is unknown. Li Shixin said softly. The girls widened their eyes. Tang Shi and Murong Weiwei were already crying. Master, Big Brother Bad Guy will definitely be fine, right? Big Sister Yuer said that he's an immortal. How can an immortal be poisoned? Immortals can live forever, right? Little Ling Mo walked up to Shui Yunzi and asked softly. Yuer, did you tell them about Guapai's identity? Shui Yunzi didn't answer Ling Mo's question. Instead, he looked at Yuer and asked. Yes, Bad Guy said that there are some things that we should tell them, Yuer said softly. Then I won't beat around the bush. Guapai is an immortal that was demoted. In terms of realms, we are all considered immortals because we can go anywhere. Shui Yunzi said softly, but in the mortal realm, immortals are still humans. They are just people with special abilities. Will Big Bad Guy be fine? Sun Ling Ling asked softly. If he can't settle this matter, he will be in danger. His body and soul might even be destroyed. After death, he will be worse than an ordinary person. He won't even have the chance to reincarnate, Shui Yunzi said softly. Does Big Brother Bad Guy know that this is very dangerous for him? Xiao Yezi asked softly. He knows. He knows it better than anyone else. But he has no choice. If he escapes alone, nothing will happen to him, but the entire mortal realm will experience a catastrophe, Qiu Daoyuan said loudly. Qiu Daoyuan said loudly, we've met all kinds of people in the past hundreds of thousands of years, but he's the only one who has such a merciful heart like true Lord. Even now, I can't figure out why such a person would be banished to the lower world. The girls had a rough idea of what had happened. Under Yu Er's persuasion, the girls went back to their rooms. However, the girls didn't go to sleep like before. Instead, they sat in their rooms and began to cultivate according to the mental cultivation method that Guopai and Yu Er had taught them. At present, no matter what Guopai told them, they didn't take cultivation seriously because their man was powerful. Their man was basically omnipotent in the Huaxia or even anywhere in the world. But now it was different. They understood that they had to work hard. At least one day, if Guopai really returned to the heavenly realm, they would have some hope of following him. Shui Yunzi, Li Shixin, Qiu Daoyuan, Qi Yun, Li Feng, Guopai, and Xian Yuan Hao began to divide the work. They took turns to set up defenses around the formation that Guopai had trapped. Such a lineup was definitely the strongest in the world, if not for the few great demons. Third brother, how about it? Should we kidnap all the wives of that true monarch Bugyaku's mortal realm and release them? I want them to beg for death. I want them to know the price of offending me, the lustful demon. Lustful Demon sensed the return of Poison Demon and shouted loudly into the voice transmission Jade. That damn true monarch mind reading and those damned women. My clone was destroyed. I didn't bring them with me. Poison Demon gritted his teeth and said, how is that possible? When you left the mansion, true monarch mind reading was leading Bugyaku's experts to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean to rescue people. It would take more than 2 hours to return to the imperial capital from the Pacific Ocean with so many people. Could it be that you didn't even manage to settle a woman in 2 hours? Lustful Demon asked loudly. Shut up. In order to avenge you, my doppelganger was destroyed. Don't ask me what happened. Let me tell you, not only was my doppelganger killed, but I also self-detonated my poison body. Now, that Guopao and my self-detonated poison body are trapped in the array. Now that my doppelganger was destroyed, I want to plunge the world into misery and suffering. Poison Demon shouted loudly. When Lustful Demon heard the words self-destructing, she knew that things were serious and didn't ask any more questions. Third brother, you condensed a total of 3 poison bodies in more than 100,000 years. I didn't expect you to self-destruct your poison body because of a small grudge against fourth brother. Foolish, extremely foolish. Dream Demon shouted into the voice transmission Jade. Big brother, you make it sound so easy. It's just a small grudge. Don't you see how many times this true monarch mind reading has ruined our plans in just 4 to 5 years? Your clone was destroyed by him, and your disciple was killed by him. Aren't you angry at all? This isn't like my big brother, Poison Demon said loudly. Father has his chances. Now isn't the time to deal with a mere banished immortal. Doing this will only alert the enemy, Dream Demon said softly. However, his brothers didn't respond to him. Big brother, I don't think it's a bad thing for third brother to self-destruct his poison body. If that true monarch mind reading isn't able to deal with the poison in his body, he will die. Even if the heavenly court sends people to the lower realm, everything will have to start from scratch. When that time comes, as long as Father grabs hold of the opportunity, he will definitely be able to control the mortal realm completely. Then, we won't be far from unifying the three realms. Medicine Demon, who had been silent all this while, said softly. Fifth sister, Father told me a few days ago that true monarch mind reading isn't as simple as you think. It's impossible for third brother's poison body to kill him, Dream Demon said while shaking his head. Chapter 644. The 5 demon sovereigns chatted for a while before they all quieted down. The lustful demon was not in the mood to care about Guapai, because he could sense that a few people from the Skyfall River had come with ill intentions. Uncle Ao, why isn't Guapai here yet? Did something happen on his side? Aoji asked softly as he looked in the direction of the imperial capital. I don't know. If there's anything in the world that little bad can't handle, then something must have happened, Ao Feng said softly. He still remembered what Guapai had said to him a few days ago. Uncle Ao, you've been out of the Dragon Burial Valley for some time now. Have you thought about going back to take a look and rescue some more Dragon Clan disciples? Guapai asked Ao Feng with a smile. Breaking the taboo of the Dragon Burial Valley is easier said than done. The clan leader only hopes that Ji, Yuan, and Yu can live well in the human world. If we have the chance to return to the Heaven Realm in the future, only then will we have the chance to rescue the people in the Dragon Burial Valley, Ao Feng answered softly. I want to go to the Dragon Burial Valley in a few days. The human world has been peaceful for too long. I can sense that there will be chaos in the human world sooner or later. I hope that the people of the Dragon Clan can stand by my side when the time comes. I will think of a way to rescue as many Dragon Clan disciples from the Dragon Burial Valley as possible. Then, when the human world is in chaos, I will bring all of you back to the Heaven Realm. Guapai's voice was not loud that day, but it left a deep impression in Ao Feng's heart. However, Guapai's situation was not good at the moment. The poison body had self-detonated. Guapai was trapped in the same formation as the poison body. Guapai had been holding his breath ever since he came into contact with the poison body. Although it was not difficult for him, the feeling still made Guapai feel very uncomfortable. Poison body. How many kinds of poison did the poison demon's poison body transform into? Everything in the world has a Tao. The poison body should be the Tao of poison. Guapai thought to himself. A trace of white powder fell on his fingertip. In just a moment, Guapai's right index finger suddenly turned into a rainbow color. Guapai hurriedly used his internal energy to force the poison out of his fingertip. The blood that dripped on the ground disappeared immediately, making Guapai's eyes widened again. 3 days, 3 whole days, Guapao didn't have any clue. The longer he stayed with the poison, the more he felt how terrifying it was. If he didn't maintain a high level of vigilance at all times, his physical body would have been destroyed long ago. Elder Water, how is bad brother? Is there still no news? On the morning of the 4th day, Yuer found Shui Yunzi and asked. The Great Formation is the same as before. There are no fluctuations. But this should be good news. The lack of fluctuations at least means that Guapai is fine inside, Shui Yunzi said softly. Yuer nodded and left Bugyaku. Although Yuer was dressed conservatively, she still attracted more than 1,000 heads as she walked through the downtown area of the imperial capital. She was a perfect woman from every angle. She was simply a gift from the heavens. Yuer walked out of Bugyaku. She didn't know why she walked out at this time. Guapai had been trapped for 3 days. It was as if something in her mind was guiding her. On the 4th day, she finally couldn't help but walk out. Little girl, if you endure for a few more days, this old man will leave again. Yuer walked to an old residential area in the imperial capital. Suddenly, she heard a voice. Senior, why did you ask me to come here? Yuer asked softly. Although she was on high alert, Yuer didn't feel nervous at all. Back then, I owed the Fairy of the Moon Palace a favor. I wanted to give you a string of Buddhist beads so that you could comprehend it. But you didn't. The peaceful days of the world are coming to an end. I can't let you stay in that formation forever. The old man's voice sounded again. Senior, can you come out and meet me? Since you know my husband and my sister, I believe you must have a way to save bad guy, Ur said with a hint of excitement. Back then, when the poison body was destroyed, the Buddha used merits to purify the poison body. If the Buddha has a way, why can't you? Haha, you've been in the world for a long time. Your brain is not as bright as it used to be. The old man laughed and said, Don't say it, don't say it. As long as you tell me the words body of merit, I'll have repaid the fairy's favor. After saying that, no matter how Ur shouted, the old man's voice no longer sounded in her ears. Body of merit, I think Brother Bad Guy mentioned it before. But what's the connection between the body of merit and the poison body? Ur said to herself. Forget it. Maybe Brother Bad Guy will have a way. I'll tell Bad Guy the words body of merit first. Not long after Ur left the old residential area, a plain-looking old man appeared under a dilapidated wall. He was holding a wine gourd and drinking happily. Ba, my old friend Wenshin has crossed the line again. When the old man appeared, a monk in ragged clothes also appeared under the dilapidated wall. The two were less than half a meter apart. The monk squinted his eyes and said, Monk, it's not that Wenshin has crossed the line. It's that disappointing child of yours who acted shamelessly first. He dared to destroy the poison body. You really didn't teach him well. If I didn't want to help your son, I wouldn't have meddled in other people's business, the old man said while drinking. Then, will you care about what happens in the future, my old friend Wenshin? The monk asked indifferently. I don't care. I've already repaid the favor. My doppelganger has been in the mortal world for 10,800 years. It's time for me to return to the heavenly court. But let me give you a piece of advice. The result this time may not be what you think. Haha, interesting, really interesting. After saying that, the old man's figure flashed and disappeared under the dilapidated wall. Ba, no wonder that person no longer wants to be a Buddha in this life. If I had known, I wouldn't have spent so much effort to get this golden body. The monk shook his head and also disappeared under the dilapidated wall. What? You want to enter the formation? No, there's still no news from Guopai. You can't go in rashly. Shui Yunzi shook his head and refused Ur's request. Lord Shui, Brother Bad Guy has been in there for 3 days. I think he must have fallen into a vicious cycle. Maybe I can go in and help him. Don't you trust my strength? Didn't tell Shui Yunzi about Wenshin. Vicious cycle? Did you think of something? Shui Yunzi asked softly. Lord Shui, heaven's secrets can't be revealed. Let me go in first. Said with a smile. Shui Yunzi called Li Shirshin, Qiu Daoyuan, and the others to his side. It wasn't easy to open the formation and let in. After about 2 hours of preparation, a gap suddenly appeared in the formation. Flew in and closed the formation. Shui Yunzi and the others breathed a sigh of relief. However, no one saw a trace of gray powder flying out from the gap. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.